Chapter 733. 733 My heart is not moved. The Heavenly King tablet was indeed a good place. Very soon, Lu Ming arrived at the 10th step. Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu had also reached the 10th step. However, only a few of the other 29 elders from the Metal Sword sect managed to reach this step. On the other side, Wang Mie, Wang Mang, and the 3 gray-robed men from the Heavenly Corpse sect had also reached the 10th step. Wang Mie and Wang Mang looked at Lu Ming and the rest provocatively. Then, they stepped on the 11th step. Bang! Lu Ming did not stop and also stepped onto the 11th step. Whoosh! Whoosh! When he reached the 11th step, beams of light shot toward Lu Ming. These lights were of various colors and shapes. There were swords, sabers, fists, palms, hammers, and so on. These weapons of various colors exuded a cold killing intent as they flew towards Lu Ming. It was as if many experts were attacking him. Lu Ming stood still. These weapons struck Lu Ming's body one after another. The difference was that previously, the demonic beasts disappeared as soon as they pounced on him. However, this time, the weapons pierced through his body after hitting him. Holes appeared on his body, and the pain that seeped deep into his soul spread out. How did this happen? Lu Ming took a deep breath and looked in other directions. He saw that the others were not injured, but their eyes were filled with disbelief or solemnness. An illusion. It should still be an illusion, but this illusion was too real. It was just like many experts who were really attacking him and piercing his body. That kind of attack could even penetrate deep into his soul, causing him extreme pain. In such an environment, how many people would be able to hold on to their hearts, remain unmoved, and even move forward bravely? Once they retreated, these illusions could become real and cause serious injuries. It's powerful, but it's far from enough to defeat me. My heart is as firm as a rock. If I retreat in the face of such an attack, how can I face Martial Emperor Di in the future? Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he continued to walk forward. On the 12th step, there were still many attacks. Each color represented a kind of heaven and earth in 10th realm. It was extremely profound and was definitely left behind by a top expert. Then the 13th step, the 14th step. At this point, the 29 experts from the Metal Sword sect had all stopped. On the 14th step, only Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Jian Filiu, Wang Mie, Wang Mang, and the 3 gray-robed young men from the Heavenly Corpse sect were still struggling. In addition, there were 2 white-haired elders. Below the stairs, countless people were watching. Amazing! They're indeed peerless geniuses. Who do you think is stronger? Which step do you think they'll reach? It's hard to say. The Heavenly King monument tests a person's will, and heart of martial arts. It has little to do with battle strength, so it's usually hard to tell. Even so, it's not completely untraceable. Generally, the more talented and the more potential one has, the further one can go. For example, Jiang Taishu. So I think Wang Mie will go further in this group. He should have no problem reaching the 17th step. Yes, that's true. Also, that Lu Ming was able to confront Wang Mie just now, which means he's also extraordinary. He should be able to step onto the 16th step. As for Jian Filiu, Wang Mang, the 3 people from the Heavenly Corpse sect, and that young woman, they can only step onto the 16th step at most. In fact, they might only be able to step onto the 15th step. Your speculation is quite possible. Below, the crowd was in a heated discussion, expressing their own opinions. In the midst of their discussion, Lu Ming and the rest took another step forward. On the 15th step. Whoosh! A ray of sword light, like a fairy from the heavens, went straight for the space between Lu Ming's eyebrows. The sharp killing intent made Lu Ming feel that he was going to lose his life here in the next moment. They knew that this was fake, but it felt too real. No matter who it was, they subconsciously wanted to resist, retreat, and resist. Come on. What do I have to fear even if I have to face mountains of daggers and seas of flames? Pucci! Lu Ming's glabella seemed to have been pierced through. A cold feeling spread through his entire body. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to have been killed. My heart won't move. Lu Ming murmured, his eyes determined as he looked upwards. Between heaven and earth, there seemed to be endless wills of heaven and earth. Every one of them was extremely mysterious. However, this was not what Lu Ming wanted. He wanted to go further. Boom. Boom. At this moment, on the 15th step, two old men let out a blood-curdling screech as they were blasted down the steps, blood spurting from their mouths. As for the three men in gray robes from the Heavenly Corpse sect, two of them trembled violently and were almost blasted off. However, they roared in the end and barely managed to withstand the impact. They were also breathing heavily and sweating profusely. The other person was Wang Mang. His body was also trembling and his face was pale. In addition, Jian Filiu's body also started to tremble slightly. Could it be that this is my limit? No, I can become stronger. I want to become a peak expert. I want to use my strength to protect the people I love. I want to save my junior sister. Jian Filiu roared in his heart, and his eyes were filled with madness. Bang! Jian Filiu was the first one to step onto the 16th step. He was stepping forward for love. He must become stronger. Yesterday, Lu Ming had said that as long as one was strong enough, one person could be an ancient family. He was deeply touched by that kind of heroic spirit. He wanted to break through the limit. On the 16th step, Jian Filiu's body trembled violently. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, but his eyes were still firm. Slowly, his body calmed down, and he stood firmly on the 16th step. Jian Filiu actually reached the 16th step and stabilized himself. Amazing, truly amazing. That's right. Jian Filiu is ranked 788th on the list of top 1,000 talents. It's rare for him to reach the 16th step. Generally speaking, only a few people after the 700th place on the list of top 1,000 talents can reach the 16th step. Looking at the 16th step, many people were discussing in shock. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing smiled as they watched Jian Filiu step onto the 16th step. Jian Filiu had an obsession in his heart, so he would definitely become stronger. Impossible! Wang Mang's eyes widened in disbelief. It was already very difficult for him to reach the 15th step, but he didn't expect Jian Filiu to reach the 16th step. How can I lose to this trash? Wang Mang roared in anger and stepped forward. The next moment, his eyes were filled with fear. With a scream, his body flew far away and fell to the ground, spitting out a large mouthful of blood. Bang! On the other side, the remaining gray-robed young man from the Heavenly Corpse sect also stepped onto the 16th step. His eyes were filled with fear, but he didn't fall down in the end. Instead, he slowly calmed down and sat down cross-legged on the 16th step. Chapter 734. 734 Chapter 734 Humiliating Oneself. Wang Mie looked at Jian Filiu, snorted and stepped forward. Then, Wang Mie's body trembled slightly and he stood firmly on the 16th step. Let's see how many steps you can reach. Wang Mie looked at Lu Ming coldly, his eyes full of provocation. Lu Ming smiled faintly and stepped forward. The 16th step was undoubtedly more terrifying. However, Lu Ming still stood firmly. Following closely behind him was Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing's eyes were extremely determined. Lu Ming seemed to see in Xian Yanqing's eyes that she was going to step on someone. It shouldn't be me. Lu Ming shook his head and smiled in his heart. Wang Mie's eyes turned cold when he saw that both Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing had reached the 16th step. The rest of the people below were surprised as well. They did not expect Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu to be able to reach the 16th step. Brother Lu, Miss Xie, I can't keep going up with you, Jian Filiu said. Then he sat down cross-legged and started to cultivate. If you can't make it, you'd better not force yourself. Otherwise, it would be a joke if you die here before the Heavenly King ranking even starts. Wang Mie looked at Lu Ming and sneered. Oh really? This is what you told yourself, right? Lu Ming smiled faintly. You have a sharp tongue. I'd like to see if you can step on it. Wang Mie coldly snorted and stepped forward. Bang! Wang Mie's foot landed heavily on the 17th step. Instantly, his body shook violently as if he was under a terrifying pressure. But in the end, it was still blocked by him. He stopped. Wang Mie, he really can reach the 17th step. It's said that the situation on the 17th step is completely different from the previous 16 steps. It's even more terrifying. The 17th step is a threshold. Only those who can reach the 17th step can be considered a top genius. When Wang Mie stepped onto the 17th step, many people were moved, even though they had already expected it. Come on up. Lu Ming turned around and looked down at him with a smug expression. Heaven's Pride experts were also divided into different levels. He had reached the 17th step. In terms of determination and potential, he could already be ranked among the top Heaven's Pride experts. How could he not be proud? Bang! His proud expression didn't last long before it stiffened. Xian Yanqing took a step forward. He stepped on it steadily without even shaking. You're just a frog in a well. What's there to be proud of on the 17th step? Xian Yanqing glanced at Wang Mie with disdain. Below, many people were dumbfounded. Xian Yanqing's actions were completely beyond their expectations. They couldn't help but re-evaluate this beautiful woman. Xian Yanqing had been quiet all this while, but now they knew that they had underestimated him. Phew! Wang Mie's expression was extremely ugly. He looked at Lu Ming and said, "She's her, what about you?" Bang! As soon as Wang Mie finished speaking, Lu Ming stepped forward and stood firmly on the 17th step. Wang Mie's expression was completely stiff. The 17 steps are indeed different. Lu Ming's gaze looked up. In front of him, a figure as tall as the sky appeared. This figure exuded a terrifying pressure. This pressure was unparalleled, like the might of the heavens. Under this pressure, even one's soul would tremble, and one wouldn't be able to summon the slightest thought of resisting. Get down. The giant figure spat out these 3 words like a thunderbolt. It was supremely dignified and did not allow any resistance. At the same time, all kinds of light fell on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming could clearly feel that his body had been pierced through, and he was bleeding profusely. You don't have the right to make me get lost. Lu Ming's eyes were firm and bright. He faced the huge figure fearlessly. Damn it! Wang Mie let out a low roar. At that moment, 9 people on the 17th step opened their eyes and looked at Lu Ming and the other 2. These 9 people were the ones who had reached the 17th step before him. There were old men, but most of them were young people, all of whom were extremely powerful. Interesting, a few more Heaven's Chosen have arrived. Wang Mie seems to be at a disadvantage. Wang Mie should have to stop here. But who's that young man? I've never seen him before. It seems like he's a new genius. I wonder if he can make it to the 18th step. On the 17th step, a few young experts were discussing. It's not enough. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Without even looking at Wang Mie, he lifted his foot and continued to step forward. His determined footsteps landed on the 18th step. Lu Ming stepped on it steadily. At that moment, the 5 figures who had been sitting cross-legged on the 18th step opened their eyes at the same time and looked at Lu Ming. Impossible! Wang Mie shouted. The rest of the people at the scene looked at Lu Ming in shock. Lu Ming had actually reached the 18th step. It was too shocking and beyond everyone's expectations. There were only 5 people sitting cross-legged on the 18th step. They were all famous geniuses. Although they weren't among the last 10 heavenly kings, they were close to that level. Each of them was ranked above Wang Mie on the list of top 1,000 talents. Now, there was one more person. Above them, on the 19th step, there was only one person, and that was Jiang Taishu. The key was this Lu Ming's limit? Could he go one step further and reach the 19th step to be on the same level as Jiang Taishu? He was curious, extremely curious. However, an even more shocking scene appeared. Xian Yanqing also raised his foot and stepped onto the 18th step. Do you want to come up and try? This time, Lu Ming turned his head and looked down at Wang Mie. Damn it. Wang Mie's eyes were extremely gloomy. His body was emitting hot flames, like a god of fire. If you can't make it, don't force yourself. The Heavenly King ranking hasn't started yet. If you die here, you'll be a joke. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Wang Mie almost vomited blood in anger. This was what he had said to Lu Ming just now. Now, Lu Ming returned it to him in its original form. I don't believe it. Wang Mie's eyes revealed a trace of ruthlessness. He let out a low roar and stepped onto the 18th step. Instantly, his body trembled violently, and his eyes were filled with fear. He screamed and spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was directly sent flying, following in Wang Ming's footsteps. The 17th step was already Wang Mie's limit. If he had barely managed to climb up, this would have been the only result. It was already a good thing that he didn't die. The crowd only glanced at Wang Mie casually and then looked at the two figures on the 18th step. Could they still continue to go up? Everyone was extremely curious. However, to his disappointment, Lu Ming sat down cross-legged. Xian Yanqing pondered for a moment, then sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Chapter 735. 735 Second Level Intent Realm. Many people heaved a sigh of relief, and then a discussion broke out. It seems that the two of them can only reach the 18th step. They've already reached their limits. It's already very shocking. Although the higher they go, it doesn't mean that their combat power is stronger, but at least it shows that these two people's willpower and martial heart are extremely tough and terrifying. They have endless potential. That's right. If they break through to the spiritual ocean tier, they will easily enter the top 500 on the list of top 1,000 talents. I wonder how long they can stay on the 18th step. Many people nodded and were somewhat amazed. These were two newly risen heavens favorites. During this period of time, there had been quite a number of new rising heavens favorites. On the 18th step, the other five closed their eyes and began to cultivate when they saw Lu Ming and Lin Feng sitting cross-legged. Jiang Taishu, who was on the 19th step, did not open his eyes from the beginning to the end. It seemed that nothing below the 19th step could arouse his interest. Lu Ming did not continue to advance not because he could not, but because he felt that he should be able to cultivate on the 18th step. He sat cross-legged, and above him, the huge figure was still berating him, telling him to roll down. At the same time, countless rays of light of various colors shot towards him. It's not good to bear this kind of pressure and pain all the time. Lu Ming smiled faintly. However, this could also be considered a form of training. At the same time, the various colored attacks contained all sorts of heaven and earth intent realms. They were left behind by peerless powerhouses in ancient times. This was an unparalleled wealth. Those with high talent could comprehend the intent realm of heaven and earth from it, and even comprehend unparalleled combat skills. Only Martial King realm martial artists could enter the Heaven King list, and only then would it be effective. If it was someone in the Sea of Soul realm or even higher, it would have no effect at all. Lu Ming closed his eyes, his mind wandering. What? He raised his eyebrows. He had just caught a flash of lightning. This thunder domain is compatible with me. I have to capture it. Lu Ming sensed it carefully. After a while, he sensed the wisp of thunder concept again. Buzz. At this moment, his thunder mentality turned into a rope and flew out at an extreme speed, wrapping around the thunder mentality. Boom. At this moment, Lu Ming's mind was buzzing. The environment seemed to have changed. Lu Ming realized that he had appeared in a void. In the void, there was a figure jumping around, performing the concept of thunder. What a wonderful thunder mentality. So, the thunder mentality can be used like this? Lu Ming was mesmerized with just one look, his eyes fixed on it. He realized that his comprehension of the thunder concept was constantly improving. Just like that, time slowly passed. Lu Ming seemed to have forgotten about the attack, pressure, and pain outside. He focused on comprehending the concept of thunder. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. Buzz! Suddenly, in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness, there was only one thunder concept rune. All of a sudden, a new thunder concept rune spread out. This newly born thunder concept rune was only an inch long, much shorter than the previous one. The moment it appeared, it intertwined with the first one and complemented each other. Level 2 concept. Lu Ming's thunder concept had successfully broken through to level 2. He had finally broken through the bottleneck and entered level 2. However, this was still far from enough. Lu Ming still had 3 intents that needed to reach the second level. Otherwise, his cultivation would not be able to break through to the spirit ocean realm. Lu Ming immediately continued cultivating. This time, he did not continue to comprehend the thunder mentality. Instead, he began to capture other concepts. Not long after, he successfully captured the concept of wind and started to comprehend it. Time passed by slowly. There were more and more people on the Heavenly King's stele. Some people climbed up the steps, while others couldn't hold on and were blasted down. There were many people coming and going. During this period of time, many more geniuses had appeared. A few more people had appeared on the 17th and 18th steps. However, Jiang Taishu was the only one on the 19th step. The few heaven's favorites who were as famous as Jiang Taishu were not here. They might be cultivating somewhere else. In the blink of an eye, another 6 days had passed. It was the 13th day since Lu Ming stepped onto the Heavenly King's tablet. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his eyes. Now, my wind and thunder intents have both reached level 2. I should upgrade my earth intent to level 1 completion, or even level 2. Only then will my prison suppressing heaven technique be stronger. Lu Ming looked up. He had to climb the higher steps. He had tried earlier, but he did not capture a suitable earth concept on the 18th step. He could only go up. The next moment, Lu Ming stood up. Below, many people looked at him curiously. That Lu Ming has gotten up. He has been up there for 13 days. I reckon he can't take it anymore and has retreated. He stayed on the 18th step for 13 days. That's already terrifying enough. What's even more shocking is Jiang Taishu. He has been stuck on the 19th step for so long. Jiang Taishu might be aiming for the first place on the Heavenly King list this time. However, the next moment, everyone's discussion came to an abrupt end. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. This was because they realized that Lu Ming was not going to retreat. He was actually going up. Bang! Lu Ming stepped onto the 19th step with determination and stood firmly on it. At this moment, everyone's mouth was wide open as they gasped. Lu Ming had actually stood still and successfully ascended the 19th step, standing at the same level as Jiang Taishu. Jiang Taishu, who had been sitting cross-legged on the 19th step without any movement, suddenly opened his eyes. 2 sharp lights flashed in his eyes. A trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. He didn't seem to expect that the person who climbed the 19th step would be a young man from Emoshang. It was a young man he didn't know. However, what was even more shocking was that after Lu Ming reached the 19th step, he did not seem to have any intention of stopping. He looked at the 20th step. Heavens, is he going to reach the 20th step? It can't be. That's the 20th step. Not many people have ever made it. Only the top 20 on the list of top 1,000 talents made it when they were at the Martial King realm, and the previous number 1 on the Heavenly King list made it to the 20th step. No one else has made it. Can he really do it? Even Jiang Taishu can't get there. Many people were discussing in shock. At this moment, the glint in Jiang Taishu's eyes grew even more intense. He stood up and spoke into Lu Ming's ears. You want to climb the 20th step? Jiang Taishu had transmitted his voice to the others, so they could not hear him. Not bad. Lu Ming said. I advise you to stay on the 19th step. Jiang Taishu continued to send messages. What do you mean? Lu Ming said. What do you mean? Jiang Taishu's eyes glowed even more sharply. This time, no one has managed to reach the 20th step. If you do, what will the other geniuses do? Chapter 736. 736 Four Geniuses. The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled up into a smile. It was a mocking smile. He finally knew what Jiang Taishu meant. Jiang Taishu's meaning was clear. He was already on the 19th step. If Lu Ming were to step onto the 20th step, where would he put his face? He couldn't step on it himself, yet he wanted to be high and mighty, taking the lead, and not let others step on it. What a joke! Why would Lu Ming bother with such a person? If you have the ability, then come up. Lu Ming sneered and ignored Jiang Taishu. He turned around and took a step forward without hesitation. Boom! When Lu Ming stepped onto the second step, he felt as if the entire world was pressing down on him. His body could not help but stagger and tremble slightly, as if he would fall down at any time. In the sky in front of him, Lu Ming saw a figure as high as the sky looking down at him. The pressure was even more terrifying and powerful. Get down! The rumbling voice kept rushing into Lu Ming's mind and soul. Endless rays of light of various colors shot towards Lu Ming and struck his body. Lu Ming seemed to be experiencing 1,000 cuts. One could clearly see his flesh and blood being separated. Of course, this was only his own feeling. What others saw was only his body trembling slightly. He stepped on it, he stepped on it. His body is trembling slightly. It seems to be very difficult. If he can hold his ground, he'll be comparable to the top 20 on the list of top 1,000 talents. The 20th step. This kid's future is limitless. Below, countless people widened their eyes. They looked up at Lu Ming in shock and nervousness. No one can make me roll down. On the 20th step, Lu Ming growled. His eyes were filled with determination and persistence. He wanted to break through all obstacles. He wanted to reach the peak and surpass Martial Emperor. In front of his eyes, a figure seemed to have appeared. It was indomitable, crossing the universe with an unparalleled aura. It was even larger and more majestic than the figure that had told him to roll down. That was the Martial Emperor D he had imagined. He had even surpassed Martial Emperor D, so why would he be afraid of this figure? His posture slowly stabilized and his body stood straight. He stood firmly on the 20th step. The dark red stairs were up there. Only those who had participated in the Battle of the Heavenly King list and obtained the top 108 spots could step onto the dark red steps. Only those who had the protection of the monument Qi could step onto it. Otherwise, only death awaited them. There had never been an exception. A cold glint flashed across Jiang Taishu's eyes as he looked at Lu Ming, who was standing on the 20th step. His body glowed with a sharp light. He looked at the 20th step with hesitation in his eyes, but he did not step on it. At this moment, the people on the other steps opened their eyes and looked up at Lu Ming in shock. Amazing, truly amazing. Another top-tier heaven's favorite. Many geniuses sighed. Brother Lu, you are indeed much stronger than me. Jian Filiu sighed. Qin Qingshan and Gao Chong were also sighing. Qin Qingshan had been easily defeated by Lu Ming a few days ago. At first, he was still indignant, but now he was convinced. As for Gao Chong, he was extremely glad. Back then, he wanted to teach Lu Ming a lesson. Now, he was blushing as he imagined it. Impossible! In the crowd below, Wang Mie, Wang Mang, and the others roared in disbelief. This brat, I want him dead. Wang Mang's eyes were filled with killing intent. Don't worry, the higher one climbs on the Heavenly King's steel steps, the stronger one's combat power is. In the Heavenly King ranking battle, kill him. Wang Mie's eyes flashed with cold light. At this moment, Xian Yanqing, who had been sitting on the 18th step, suddenly stood up and walked up to the 19th step. He stepped onto the 19th step steadily and stood at the same level as Jiang Taishu. Before anyone could react, Xian Yanqing took another step. With this step, she reached the 20th step. Her body trembled slightly, but her eyes were extremely determined. Another person had reached the 20th step. Moreover, it was Lu Ming's female companion. Almost everyone treated her as Lu Ming's girlfriend. A pair of Golden Boy and Jade Girl had both stepped onto the 20th step. Everyone was stunned, thinking that they were dreaming. This was too unbelievable. This time, after the opening of the Heavenly King tablet, he had yet to step onto the 20th step. Now there were two of them. Jiang Taishu's eyes turned even colder. It's really lively today. Let me join in the fun. A loud laugh was heard. Everyone looked over and saw a fat man with a waist as thick as a water tank. He wore a loose white robe and his face was chubby with a hint of red. He was carrying an axe on his shoulder. The handle of the axe was 2 meters long, and the body of the axe was huge, like a door. In his other hand, he was holding a greasy lamb leg and gnawing on it. As he gnawed, he descended and stepped on the steps of the Heavenly King tablet. Buzz! At this time, on the other side, a rainbow light flashed and a tall figure landed under the Heavenly King tablet. This young man was wearing a gray robe and looked very ordinary. He was the kind of person who would be easily found in a sea of people. He descended and strode up the stairs. The fatty and the ordinary-looking young man climbed up the stairs very quickly. They reached the 11th step in no time, but they did not stop. They continued to climb up step by step. 17 steps, 18 steps, 19 steps. Everyone was dumbfounded. Where did these two geniuses come from? They were too terrifying. They had climbed up the 19th step in one go and were now on the same level as Jiang Taishu. Nest, this place is really uncomfortable. It hurts so much. No, I need to eat more meat to nourish myself. The fat man shouted and gnawed on the leg of lamb in his hand. Then, under everyone's gaze, he stepped onto the 20th step. The ordinary-looking young man also stepped onto the 20th step. Shocking, shocking. Countless people were dumbfounded. What was going on today? Usually, very few people could reach the top, but now, so many people had appeared at once. 4 people, a total of 4 people had reached the 20th step. Most importantly, these 4 people were unfamiliar faces and were not on the list of top 1,000 talents. I can't take it anymore. I want to eat meat to nourish myself. It's too painful. The fat man shouted as he gnawed on the lamb leg. He was actually standing firmly on the 20th step. Lu Ming looked at it and was somewhat speechless. The others were also speechless. Some people were even more indignant. Even this fatty could climb up, it was too unfair. That young man seems to be the rising genius of the Heavenly Corpse sect. His name is Corpse King. At this moment, someone recognized the ordinary-looking young man. Chapter 737. 737 Chapter 737 Immemorial Divine Weapon Art. Corpse King, what a strange name. It said that this man has already cultivated the Heavenly Corpse sect's God-grade cultivation technique, the 9 Netherworld Corpse transformation art, to an extremely powerful realm. His combat strength is extremely terrifying. The 9 Serenities Corpse transformation art can turn one's body into a divine corpse. One's entire body will be impervious to blades, spears, water, and fire. There's nothing that can't be destroyed. It's terrifying to the extreme. This is a terrifying opponent. Many people were talking about it. Some of the warriors who were going to participate in the Battle of the Heavenly Kings list secretly noted down the Corpse King so that they could be more careful when they met him in the future. At this moment, Jiang Taishu's expression was extremely ugly. He glanced at the 4 people on the 20th step and his killing intent flashed. Then he turned around, walked down the steps, and left. Beautiful lady, how may I address you? I'm free advance. Fatty took a few bites of the leg of lamb before turning his small eyes to Xian Yanqing. Get lost. Xian Yanqing's answer was only one word. Beauty, why are you so fierce? Didn't he just want to exchange some pointers? Don't tell me you're already taken? Am I late again? Brother, are you really you? The fatty sighed and then looked at Lu Ming. What's wrong? Do you want to fight me? Lu Ming said. Duel? What duel? I have my principles when it comes to picking up girls. First, I don't pick up girls who are already taken. I won't fight with others for someone who's already taken. How tiring would that be? Pretty lady, do you have any brothers or sisters? No sisters? Introduce one to me. Fatty turned to Xian Yanqing as he munched on the leg of lamb. Get lost. Xian Yanqing uttered another word. Look at you, can't you speak properly? Brother, does your wife have a sister? Can you introduce one to her? Kong Jin looked at Lu Ming again. Lu Ming was speechless. This fatty was really a weirdo. Did he come online to find someone to introduce a girlfriend to him? Xian Yanjuan's figure appeared in Lu Ming's mind. He said subconsciously, she really does have an older sister who looks quite like her. What? Really? Brother, you have to help me. I've already decided I'm going to conquer this beautiful sister. Fatty's eyes were shining, and then he took another bite of the lamb leg. Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing's eyes were fierce as he squeezed out two words. I'm going to start my cultivation. Lu Ming quickly sat cross-legged and closed his eyes, ignoring the outside world. Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth and sat down cross-legged. The fat man gnawed on the leg of lamb with a swish. Then he carried the axe, sat cross-legged, and began to cultivate. The corpse king also began to cultivate. Soon, Lu Ming caught a trace of the earth concept's trajectory and began to comprehend it. His comprehension of the earth essence realm had improved by leaps and bounds. In the blink of an eye, another 7 days had passed. Lu Ming had finally cultivated the earth concept to the full circle of level 1. Now, there were 4 concepts. The earth and fire concepts were both at the completion of level 1, while the wind and thunder concepts had both reached the beginning of level 2. Lu Ming's combat strength had increased tremendously compared to when he had first arrived. At this time, the battle for the Heavenly King ranking had officially begun. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and everyone else who was cultivating on the Heavenly King's tablet descended the steps and headed north. There was a huge square dozens of miles away. The square was paved with a kind of black stone with complicated inscriptions on it. There were more than 100,000 peak-tier kings gathered around the square. The fat man followed Lu Ming like a shadow, mumbling non-stop that he wanted to introduce Xian Yanqing's sister to him. Lu Ming was extremely regretful now. He regretted the words that he had blurted out previously. Boom! Boom! A terrifying pressure came from the sky, and 6 figures appeared. These 6 people were definitely extremely powerful experts. It was very likely that they were all in the spirit embryo realm. 3 people from the Empyrean Heavenly Divine Palace and 3 people from the Heavenly Corpse sect. Both sides would send experts to preside over the battle for the Heavenly King ranking. Venerable 3 corpses, let's begin. Do you want to announce it, or should I? In the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, a middle-aged man with a jade crown on his head looked at the man in the middle of the 3 people from the Heavenly Corpse sect. Hee, Dongfang Hao, you'll do it? Venerable 3 corpses chuckled and said no more. Dongfang Hao nodded and looked around. The battle of the Heavenly King's ranking requires 2 rounds of preliminaries to select the strongest group of people to qualify for the final battle. The first round of preliminaries will be held in this square. With that, Dongfang Hao waved his hands, and runes entered the ground. The runes glowed, and the next moment, shields appeared in the square. The shields were arranged in rows. In each row, there were 36 shields in front of and behind them, making a total of 18 rows. You should have seen that there are 36 shields in each row. Go up the stage and hit these shields. Only those who can break through 9 shields will pass and enter the next round. Now let's begin. Dongfang Hao announced. I'll do it. I'll join you too. Immediately, 18 people stepped onto the square. There were a total of 18 rows, and 18 people could take the test at the same time. Boom! Boom! True chi circulated, and all kinds of wills bloomed. The 18 people attacked one after another. Those shields were shattered piece by piece. Break! Lu Ming saw a burly man punching out with both his fists continuously. Beams of scorching fist radiance were blasted out, and the shield was constantly broken. However, the moment the shield was broken, it seemed to produce a powerful force that retaliated against his body. The further back they went, the harder it seemed to break the shield, and the stronger the power of the counterattack. Bang! Bang! The brawny man kept retreating. In the end, he roared and punched with all his might, shattering the shield of the ninth fastest man. But at the same time, his body was also pushed back and he spat out a mouthful of blood. 9 pieces, pass. You, 6 pieces, fail, eliminated. Dong Feng Hao announced. Out of the 18 people who went up, only 6 of them managed to shatter 9 pieces. Those who passed only had a success rate of 1/3. The tallest one had broken 11 shields. Next group. Dong Feng Hao announced. Immediately, another 18 people flew up, and the broken shields were reformed. That's Jiang Taishu. Jiang Taishu is going up. Among the 18 people, one person attracted everyone's attention. Jiang Taishu was a genius from the Jiang family, one of the 6 great ancient aristocratic families. He was ranked 6th in the last generation of the 10 heavenly kings. Now, the top 4 of the 10 heavenly kings had all entered the Sea of Soul realm. Jiang Taishu was the most likely candidate to compete for the strongest king this time. Jiang Taishu stood still like a mountain. A terrifying sharpness emanated from his body, as if it could cut through everything. The Jiang family, one of the 6 ancient families, cultivated the immemorial divine weapon technique, which was a god-level cultivation technique that could cultivate one's body into a divine weapon. Their body was a divine weapon that could break and destroy everything, somewhat similar to the 9 Nether's Corpse transformation technique of the Heavenly Corpse sect. Chapter 738. 738 The second piece of the Heavenly King Tablet. Break! Jiang Taishu murmured. His palm was like a sword, and he slashed forward. Boom! Boom! In an instant, 9 shields exploded, but that was not all. The 10th, 11th, and 12th shields exploded. In the blink of an eye, 18 shields exploded. Break again! Jiang Taishu shouted, and the sharpness in his eyes grew. He struck out with his palm again. This time, everyone seemed to see a saber slashing forward. Bang! Bang! One shield after another exploded. The strong wind and qi were counterattacked, but Jiang Taishu's figure remained unmoved. He continued to attack, shattering everything. In the end, a total of 28 shields were broken. Jiang Taishu had broken 28 of the 36 pieces, which was an amazing achievement. In the king's realm, no one had ever been able to break all 36 shields. Apart from Jiang Taishu, the strongest among the 18 people in this round had only broken 12 shields. The gap was too great. Following that, 18 people in a round, 18 people in a round, people continued to go up. However, the success rate was only about 1/3. Many people who had failed shook their heads and sighed. They had no fate with the Heavenly King ranking competition this time. Lu Ming saw that Gao Chang, the last-ranked genius on the list of top 1,000 talents, had lost an arm and his combat strength had been weakened. In the end, he had only broken 12 shields. Qin Qingshan had shattered 16 pieces. Wang Mang had shattered 20 pieces. Wang Mie was very strong. He had broken 24 pieces, only 4 pieces away from Jiang Taishu. However, the further one advanced, the tougher the shield became. It was too difficult to break it. Even a single piece was a huge difference. A day later, more than half of the 100,000 people had been turned. Among them, there were a few shocking powerhouses that attracted Lu Ming's attention. Those people had broken 28 shields, just like Jiang Taishu. From the others, Lu Ming knew that these people were either the prodigies of the 6 great ancient families or powerhouses from the Heavenly Corpse sect. They were also the geniuses of the previous 10 heavenly kings. The last generation of 10 heavenly kings, including Jiang Taishu, had 5 people. Without a doubt, these 5 people were extremely terrifying. In the previous tournament, they were already the 10 heavenly kings, and then they had settled in the Peak King's realm for 3 years. How terrifying would their battle prowess be? It wasn't that these people couldn't break through to the Spirit Ocean realm. They could do it at any time. They just wanted to accumulate more and become more robust. Once they broke through to the spirit ocean realm, there was no doubt that their cultivation would improve greatly and rush to a new height in a short time. Of course, the others had not shattered as many pieces, but that did not mean that there were no experts who could match Jiang Taishu and the others. It was normal for some people to hide their strength. Anyway, as long as they shattered 9 pieces, they would pass. And the 28 broken pieces by Jiang Taishu and the others might not be their limit. Lu Ming and the rest were at the back of the queue. It was their turn the next day. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Jian Filiu, and Fatty Kong Jin stepped onto the square together. Everyone's eyes were on them. This was especially so for Fatty Kong Jin, Xian Yanqing, and Lu Ming. The 3 of them had reached the 20th step. Boom! Lu Ming was very straightforward. He threw a punch. A fist radiance burst out and smashed onto those shields, shattering them one by one. As expected, the further back the shield was, the harder it became and the harder it was to break it. Every time a shield exploded, there would be a powerful force that was reflected back at Lu Ming. With one punch, the 9 shields exploded. It's done. Lu Ming smiled and did not continue to attack. He looked to the side and saw that Xian Yanqing had also broken 9 pieces, so he stopped. The 2 of them looked at each other and smiled. Anyway, 9 pieces were enough to pass, so what was the point of breaking so many? The rest of the people were speechless. They had wanted to see Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's attack power. They did not expect that the 2 of them would stop after breaking 9 pieces. This made many people feel depressed. It was obvious that the 2 of them didn't use their full strength at all. It was fine as long as they passed the test. Of course, there were also people who opposed it. Maybe his attack power is not high and he doesn't dare to use his full strength. That's why he broke the 9 shields and deliberately mystified it to attract people's attention. Someone snorted coldly, not optimistic about Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's chances. At this moment, there was a commotion. Lu Ming turned his head and saw the fat man walking forward smugly. In front of him, there were 28 broken pieces. It was no wonder that everyone was so surprised. To be able to break 28 shields, his attack power was already on par with Jiang Taishu and the others. Who is this fatty? I've never seen him before. Where did this peerless genius come from? I've never seen him before either. Perhaps he's a disciple secretly taken in by some peerless expert? There are too many geniuses nowadays. Fatty Kong Jin looked around. He carried a huge axe and grinned, feeling proud of himself. Very quickly, this batch of people had all finished and the next batch of people were replaced. Corpse King. In this group, the Corpse King went up, and everyone's eyes were fixed on the Corpse King. The Corpse King was also someone who had reached the 20th step. Boom! The King Corpse was very straightforward. It directly threw out a punch, and the terrifying fist force shattered the shields in front of it. After a few punches, it had shattered 28 shields. At this moment, he suddenly stopped. This guy's strength isn't bad. I feel like he didn't use his full strength. Interesting. The Fatty Kong Jin stood beside Lu Ming, his eyes glimmering as he stared at the Corpse King. His eyes were filled with fighting spirit. In the next moment, the leg of an unknown demonic beast appeared in his hand, and he began to gnaw on it. Lu Ming was speechless. He could not be bothered with him. As time passed, the candidates went up in batches and came down in batches. One day later, all the assessments were over. A total of 120,000 people took the test, but only about 40,000 passed. One could see how difficult it was. One had to know that those who could come here were all peak-tier kings, and many of them had pretty good battle power at that level. Many of them were old guys who had cultivated for hundreds of years. Alright, the first round of assessment is over. Those who have passed the first round, follow us to the other piece of the Heavenly King tablet. Dongfang Hao announced. Then he flew toward the north with the rest of the Heavenly Corpse sect. Lu Ming and the rest followed. There were 2 pieces of the Heavenly King's steel. They had already seen one of them, and the other was where the final battle of the Heavenly King ranking would take place. In front of him was a deep abyss that was at least 10 miles wide. On the other side of the abyss was a huge stone tablet. It was 1,000 meters tall and a few hundred meters wide. It was simple and unadorned. This was the second piece of the stele. There's a peerless killing formation at the bottom of this abyss. You'll die for sure if you fall in. The entire abyss is filled with astral winds, making it extremely difficult to fly. And the place of your final battle will be inside the Heavenly King Tablet, which is a world of its own. In a moment, the Heavenly King Tablet will emit light, and at that time, you can rush in. However, the light of the Heavenly King Tablet will only last for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. You need to fly across the abyss and rush into the Heavenly King Tablet within that time. Those who fail to make it in will be eliminated. Dongfang Hao announced. Chapter 739. 739 The World Inside the Stele. As soon as he said that, many people's eyes flickered, and some people had a serious expression. This should be the final test, but it seemed simple, but it was extremely dangerous. In the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, they had to cross the 10-mile abyss. The key point was that there were more than 40,000 people. It was too crowded. Everyone had to rush forward bravely in order to reach the stele. Therefore, in this process, there would definitely be a fierce battle. One had to fight for the top spot in order to have a chance to enter the Heavenly King Tablet. Everyone waited just like that. This wait lasted for half a day. Buzz! Suddenly, the Heavenly King Tablet shook and shone with a bright light. Begin! Dongfang Hao announced. Buzz! And NBSP, whoosh! As soon as Dongfang Hao finished his sentence, countless figures rose into the air and flew toward the Heavenly King Tablet. Let's go! Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Jian Filiu, and the rest also rose into the air and flew forward. And NBSP, hoo-hoo! As soon as they flew above the abyss, a strong wind started blowing in the abyss. The strong wind was extremely sharp, like a sharp knife, slashing at everyone. Not good. Some people's expressions changed drastically as they were caught off guard and almost fell into the abyss with heavy injuries. They hurriedly used their Zhenyuan to resist. Lu Ming and the rest also released a vital essence shield to resist the surrounding strong winds. However, in this way, their speed was undoubtedly much slower. They could have flown across the abyss in the blink of an eye, but it would take a lot more time. Buzz! And NBSP, whoosh! Everyone stabilized their bodies, broke through the astral wind, and advanced at an extreme speed. Get lost, don't block the way. Someone roared and attacked the person in front of him. You're looking for death. The people in front roared, and a great battle instantly broke out. Get lost, get out of the way. The roars rose and fell. Everyone wanted to be the first to rush into the stele so that they could have the confidence to rush into the stele within the time for one incense stick to burn. If they all wanted to grab it, a battle was inevitable. Above the abyss, a dazzling light burst out. Ah! Someone screamed as he was shot down into the abyss. Suddenly, a sword light flashed in the abyss, and that person was cut in half. His corpse fell into the abyss. There was a peerless killing formation below, and those who fell would die. Brat die! All of a sudden, a cold killing intent surged toward Lu Ming and the others. At the same time, a series of attacks enveloped Lu Ming and the others. Wang Mie, Wang Mang, you're courting death. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with killing intent. The ones who attacked them were Wang Mie, Wang Mang, and some other elders. These old men were all extremely powerful and were obviously experts from the Wang family. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming and the rest exploded and blocked the attacks from all directions. Damn it, how dare you sneak attack me, you're looking for death. That Kong Jin roared as he swung his axe, destroying everything. 5 old men were caught by Fatty's axe. Xian Yanqing waved his hand and enveloped the 5 elders. As for Jian Filiu, he was facing the 2 old men alone. You two stay here. Lu Ming sent the 2 elders flying with a single punch and charged towards Wang Mie and Wang Mang. The two men's expressions changed drastically. They had sent out more than a dozen Wang family masters, but they were all held back by Xian Yinqing and his men. This was beyond their expectations. "Kid, this abyss will be your burial ground. Let's kill him together." Wang Mie snorted coldly, his killing intent soaring. Together with Wang Mang, they pounced towards Lu Ming. In addition, two other elders also charged toward Lu Ming. Die! The infinite dragon spear appeared, and the spear light burst out. It contained the second-level wind and thunder concepts. It was too fast and terrifying. Two large holes appeared in the chests of the two elders. They were pierced by Lu Ming's spear gleam. They screamed in pain and fell into the abyss. Boom! Lu Ming's long spear swept out horizontally. Wang Mie and Wang Mang trembled and retreated quickly. Wang Mie was still fine, but Wang Mang's eyes flashed with fear as he spat out a large mouthful of blood. The bone armor on one of his arms was completely shattered. How can he be so strong? The best plan is to leave. Wang Mie didn't even think and turned to leave. Not good. Wang Mang realized that Wang Mie had turned around and ran. In his shock, it was too late for him to leave. Lu Ming stepped forward and thrust his spear. The spear radiance was extremely dazzling. Don't! Wang Mang roared as he tried his best to block the attack. However, Lu Ming's strength had improved greatly and had reached a terrifying level. Wang Mang could not stop him at all. Puchi! The long spear pierced through Wang Mang's chest. With a shake, Wang Mang's corpse fell into the abyss. Lu Ming, how dare you kill the Wang family's prodigy? You're dead! In front of him, Wang Mie roared, but he did not dare to stop. Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong. He realized that he was no match for him at all. If he stayed, he would definitely die. I will definitely kill you in the Heavenly King tablet. Lu Ming shouted coldly. At this time, the elders who had surrounded Xian Yinqing and the others were either dead or had escaped. They had suffered heavy losses. At the side, when the others saw the terrifying combat strength of Lu Ming and the rest, they were shocked and did not dare to attack them. The four of them charged forward together, and those who were in their way were sent flying. Lu Ming's eyes swept across the area and found that Jiang Taishu, the corpse king, and some of the most powerful people had already rushed to the front. Those who stood in their way were all killed in one move. In the end, they rushed into the Divine King's tablet and disappeared. After about half an incense's time, Lu Ming and the rest also rushed into the steel and disappeared. Soon, the time for one incense stick to burn had passed and the light on the Heavenly King's steel disappeared. Those who rushed in again could no longer enter the Heavenly King's steel. They could only sigh outside and fly back to the other side of the abyss. They had already lost their chance. Out of the 40,000 people, at least a few thousand fell into the abyss, and about 10,000 rushed into the Heavenly King monument. The rest stayed outside. In addition to those who were eliminated in the first round, there were more than 100,000 people gathered at the edge of the abyss. Let's see what's going on inside. Let's go, Dong Fonghao said. He then joined hands with enlightened three corpse, and beams of light entered the Heavenly King's steel. In the next moment, an image appeared on the steel. That's Jiang Taishu. On the screen, Jiang Taishu could be seen flying rapidly in the sky above an empty land. At this moment, Dong Fonghao waved his hand, and the scene changed into another one. A young man in a red robe killed an old man with one punch. Above him and the old man's heads, there was a stone steel shadow. There were 3 wisps of qi in the stone steel. At this time, the qi from the stone steel above the old man's head all flew towards the young man in red robe. The stone steel above the young man in red robe turned into 6 wisps of qi. That's Wang Ju, the pride of the Wang family. He was ranked 8th among the 10 heavenly kings last year. Many people recognized this young man. At this moment, Dong Fonghao waved his hand again, and the scene changed. The Heavenly King tablet could actually display the scene inside. Lu Ming felt the world flash, and he appeared in a desolate desert. Above his head, there was a floating shadow of the Heavenly King's steel. There were 3 gray gases swimming inside. Chapter 740. 740 The expert of the Heavenly Corpse sect. Every person who rushed in would have a similar Heavenly King steel apparition above their heads. There were 3 auras which were called steel chi. As long as one killed or defeated another, one would be able to snatch the chi from the other party. When all 3 chi were taken away, one would be transported out. And the final ranking was also determined by the amount of steel chi. In the world of the Heavenly King steel, there were only 3 days. In other words, one had to obtain as much steel chi as possible within 3 days. After 3 days, the person with the most steel chi would be ranked first on the Heavenly King ranking. The top 108 people would be the final 108 names. Therefore, these 3 days were destined to be brutal. There would be endless battles. Finding a place to hide wouldn't help him obtain the final spot. Xian Yanqing, Jian Filiu, and the others weren't nearby. It was obvious that they had been randomly scattered when they entered. It said that the Tao of inscription can't be used in the world of the Heavenly King tablet. Let's try it. Lu Ming waved his hands and started to inscribe runes on the ground. The inscriptions flew into the ground, but the next moment, they disappeared. Next, Lu Ming tried to inscribe runes on himself again and realized that the result was the same. He could not stop it and it collapsed directly. As expected in this place, one can only rely on one's martial cultivation and not the Tao of inscription. Lu Ming pondered. Let me out for some fresh air. He did not know when Dandan had climbed onto Lu Ming's shoulder again. Previously, Lu Ming had stuffed her into the Supreme Shrine. Dandan, you should return to the Supreme Shrine. This place is extremely mysterious. I'm afraid there are some important people observing. Don't blame me if I catch you and braise you. Lu Ming reluctantly stuffed Dan back into the Supreme Shrine. After that, Lu Ming randomly chose a direction and soared into the sky, flying into the distance. Hand over your monument chi. Not long after, Lu Ming met an elder. He did not expect the elder to turn and run when he saw Lu Ming. Lu Ming chased after him hurriedly. How fast was Lu Ming's 9 dragons heaven-treading steps? He caught up in a few moments and punched out, causing the old man to spit out a large mouthful of blood. I'll give you all my steel chi, don't kill me. The old man cried out in fear. He secretly sighed in his heart that he was unlucky. He did not expect to meet Lu Ming, this monster, the moment he entered. The old man stopped resisting. He knew that Lu Ming wanted to kill him and he could not resist at all. Lu Ming strode forward and shattered the Heavenly King Steel's shadow above the elder's head with a single palm strike. The 3 streams of steel chi above the elder's head all flew into Lu Ming's Heavenly King Steel's shadow. At this moment, a beam of light enveloped the old man. The next moment, the old man's figure disappeared and reappeared outside. After Lu Ming obtained the 3 traces of steel chi, he continued to fly in search of his next prey. There were only 3 days left, so he had to make full use of the time. In the next 3 hours, Lu Ming met 7 people in a row. One of them resisted with all his might and was killed by Lu Ming. The other 6 surrendered and obediently offered their steel auras. Lu Ming's steel chi had become 27. Outside, everyone was staring at the Heavenly King tablet. The images on the tablet kept changing. It seems that the strongest group of people this time must be the young ones. No matter how long the older generation has cultivated, their talent is still limited. It's hard for them to compete with the peerless geniuses. That's right. This time, there are even more geniuses. Not only the top 10, but I'm afraid the top 20 will all be taken by the young Heaven's Pride experts. As we've seen just now, Jiang Taishu, Wang Zhu, the Corpse King, and the others are almost invincible. They've swept all the way. Hey look, that's Lu Ming. In front of him are the 2 old geezers from the Heavenly Corpse sect. At this moment, the screen suddenly flashed and Lu Ming's figure appeared. At this moment, Lu Ming was flying forward. On a mountain peak not far ahead of him, 2 elders were hidden. They exuded a cold and gloomy aura. The two old fogies from the Heavenly Corpse sect are extremely powerful. They're the most promising candidates for the top 108 this time. This is interesting. Lu Ming is about to be ambushed. Many people widened their eyes and looked at the scene on the Divine King's tablet. Dongfang Hao didn't change the screen either. He seemed to be interested. Lu Ming naturally did not know that there were two experts waiting for him in front. He flew forward at top speed. All of a sudden, two black shadows flashed at high speed. Two sharp glints were aimed at Lu Ming. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. The spear's gleam condensed and swept toward the two black shadows. There was a loud boom and Lu Ming's figure swayed slightly. The two figures also retreated. Refined corpse. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that it was two refined corpses that had ambushed him. The two refined corpses were tall and strong. They were wearing black battle armor and holding two black battle swords. Their eyes were flashing with blood-red light. It's that kid called Lu Ming. He's the genius who has reached the 20th step of the Heavenly King monument. A faint sneer was heard as two black-robed figures appeared beside the two refined corpses. They were two old men who were so thin that they were only skin and bones. They looked like two skeletons and were extremely gloomy. The only difference was that one of them had a thick corpse chi, while the other had a ghost chi. Such a genius has endless potential. We must kill him now. Otherwise, he will be another disaster for our Heavenly Corpse sect in the future. The old man with ghostly chi sneered. Just you two old ghosts? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Brat, your combat strength is not bad. I'm afraid that any one of us is no match for you. But do you think you still stand a chance if we join forces? The old man with corpse chi grinned. The next moment, a huge bush appeared under his feet. The coffins opened, and more than a dozen refined corpses flew out. Each refined corpse was wearing black armor and holding a black sword. Their aura was extremely powerful. Although these refined corpses were only peak-tier kings, they were all extremely powerful, much stronger than ordinary peak-tier kings. This could be seen from the two refined corpses that had just ambushed them. However, this old man could control so many refined corpses of peak-tier kings. This was terrifying. Do it. The old man with the corpse chi bellowed, and the dozen refined corpses roared and pounced at Lu Ming. At the same time, the old man with the ghostly aura moved. He threw a punch, and the world was filled with ghostly wails and ghastly howls. A black fist radiance was sent flying towards Lu Ming. These two old men were very strong. They were the kind of old monsters who had cultivated for hundreds of years. I'll kill you first. With a sweep of his spear, the three refined corpses were sent flying. At the same time, he threw a punch with his left hand to offset the fist radiance of the old man with ghostly chi. Then, he strode toward the old man with corpse chi. You want to kill me? The old man with corpse chi smiled coldly and controlled the rest of the refined corpses to surround Lu Ming. I can't be bothered to waste my time with you guys. Lu Ming put away his infinite dragon spear and cast the explosive star fist. In an instant he had thrown hundreds of punches. Each fist ray was infused with the intent realms of wind, fire, and thunder. Especially the wind and lightning intents, they had reached level 2 and their power was terrifying. Hundreds of fist forces drowned the refined corpses. Chapter 741. 741 The Battle with Jiang Taishu. Bang! Bang! A series of explosions rang out as the dozen refined corpses exploded. Lu Ming strode toward the corpse chi elder. How did this happen? The old man was shocked. More than a dozen indestructible refined corpses had been blown up by Lu Ming. How could Lu Ming's attack be so terrifying? His heart trembled. Not good, quickly retreat. The old man roared in his heart. He wanted to escape, but it was too late. The explosive fist radiance drowned him in an instant. The next moment, 3 streams of steel chi flew into Lu Ming's Heavenly King steel illusion. On the other side, the ghostly old man was almost scared out of his wits as he frantically fled. A spear ray pierced through the void and nailed him in the air. Outside, many people gasped when they saw the scene on the Heavenly King tablet. This Lu Ming is too terrifying. Two extremely powerful old monsters of the Sky Corps sect were killed by him as easily as breaking dead branches. The difference is too great. He completely crushed them. In my opinion, Lu Ming's combat strength has already reached the peak of that level. He's not much different from Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and the others. He can even compete with them. Terrifying, truly terrifying. Clearly, Lu Ming's combat strength had shocked everyone. At this moment, Dong Feng Hao waved his hand, and the scene changed again. Following that, as time passed, they would occasionally see the strong fight against each other. Some of the powerhouses who had been thought highly of and had the hope of making it into the top 108 also clashed. Some died in battle, some fled with serious injuries. The most eye-catching ones were some young geniuses. Needless to say, Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and the others, who had been part of the 10 Heavenly Kings in the previous generation, were known for their strong combat strength. On top of that, Xian Yanqing, Fatty Kong Jin, Corpse King, and the other newly risen Heaven's favorites were also extremely powerful. Many powerhouses died at their hands. With the addition of Lu Ming, there was no doubt that the top 10 would be born from these people. Time flew by, and half a day had passed. Lu Ming's gains were getting bigger and bigger. He already had 150 traces of steel qi in his Heavenly King Steel's illusionary shadow. Look, Jiang Taishu and Lu Ming seem to be getting closer and closer. They'll meet soon. Someone suddenly called out from outside. Dong Feng Hao and Adept 3 corpses seemed to want the crowd to see them clearly as well. They switched between the images of Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu. The crowd saw that the two of them were flying towards each other and seemed to be getting closer and closer. They would meet soon. Everyone's heart began to race. Could it be that these two Heaven's favorites are going to meet so soon? Everyone was looking forward to what would happen when the two of them met. Lu Ming flew forward at top speed, looking for prey. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed as a figure appeared in front of him. Jiang Taishu. Jiang Taishu strolled in the air and discovered Lu Ming. His eyes gleamed sharply and a powerful aura bloomed from his body. Lu Ming, you're unlucky to have met me. If you obediently let me take your monument qi, you might still have a chance to live. Jiang Taishu stood in front of Lu Ming and spoke indifferently. Oh really? I also want your monument qi. Lu Ming licked his lips and said, Jiang Taishu's projection of the Heavenly King's steel definitely had more than 200 traces of steel qi. Lu Ming was very tempted. Huh, you want my steel qi? You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Let me tell you, the higher you climb on the Heavenly King's steel steps, the stronger your combat power is. So be it. Today, let me kill you and let the world know what a true heaven's pride is. Jiang Taishu's eyes were full of killing intent. The sharp qi around him grew stronger, like a peerless divine weapon that could cut through everything. Back then, on the steps of the Heavenly King's tablet, Jiang Taishu had warned Lu Ming not to step onto the 20th step, but Lu Ming had ignored him. Who was he, Jiang Taishu? He was actually ignored by Lu Ming. At that moment, he already had the intention to kill Lu Ming. Now that he had met him, how could he let Lu Ming off? It's said that the Jiang family cultivates a god-level cultivation technique, the immemorial divine weapon technique. I'd like to experience it. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. Jiang Taishu was one of the most powerful kings. He was curious about what level he was at. The war is about to start. In the outside world, everyone was also excited as they stared at the screen above. As expected, Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu had encountered each other. Judging from the situation, a battle was about to break out. They were looking forward to this battle. Who do you think will win the battle between Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu? In my opinion, it's most likely Jiang Taishu. After all, he's a veteran powerhouse. 3 years ago, he was already extremely terrifying. In the past 3 years, he must be even more terrifying and his combat strength has become stronger. His goal is to aim for the first place on the Heavenly King ranking. That's right. Although Lu Ming is a peerless genius with terrifying potential and talent, he's still a little weak. He can't be Jiang Taishu's opponent. What's important now is how many moves he can take from Jiang Taishu and whether he'll be killed. The crowd was in an intense discussion. Within the Heavenly Steel's world. Buzz! The sound of metal clashing came from Jiang Taishu's body. A terrible sharp qi exuded from him, which could tear everything apart. You will see it, but the price is death. Jiang Taishu stepped out and struck his palm at Lu Ming. In Lu Ming's eyes, this palm was like a heavenly blade that could split everything. His essential core exploded and Lu Ming threw a punch. Violent true essence gathered in this fist and exploded. Lu Ming's fist collided with Jiang Taishu's palm. A dull boom rang out between heaven and earth. Both of their bodies trembled and retreated. Jiang Taishu, fight with me. No need to test me. Just give it your all. Lu Ming's eyes were bright. Then I'll fulfill your wish. Buzz. And NBSP, whoosh. At this moment, it was as if thousands of weapons were clattering in unison. Jiang Taishu's aura was even sharper and more terrifying. Shattering intent. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Jiang Taishu's intent realm was the shattering intent realm. It was an extremely terrifying intent realm. Like Xian Yanqing's destruction intent realm, it was more of an offensive intent realm. Its destructive power was extremely terrifying and could destroy everything. Moreover, Jiang Taishu had already cultivated the shattering will to an extremely terrifying level 2 lower tier. Yes, Jiang Taishu's shattering will had reached level 2 lower tier. Coupled with the immemorial divine weapon technique that Jiang Taishu had cultivated, the combination of these two techniques was absolutely terrifying. Kill! Jiang Taishu bellowed as he strolled forward. He swung his arm like a sword and slashed it at Lu Ming. The fusion of the wind and thunder concepts erupted. The war dragon true element circulated rapidly as Lu Ming threw another punch. Boom! A terrifying tremor was heard. The ground kept exploding under the bombardment of the terrifying qi, and huge pits appeared. The two figures trembled for a moment before they steadied themselves ears. That Lu Ming is so powerful. He could actually block Jiang Taishu. The people who were watching from the outside were extremely shocked. Lu Ming's strength had exceeded their expectations. Chapter 742. 742 Defeating Jiang Taishu. Kill! Jiang Taishu's eyes turned even colder. He had to win today. He had to kill Lu Ming. His goal was to become the strongest Esper, the number one. How could he be stopped by Lu Ming at the beginning? Jiang Taishu's entire body turned into divine weapons that could destroy anything. Lu Ming combined the two second-level concepts of wind and thunder, in addition to his powerful essential core, and used the explosive star fist to fight Jiang Taishu. The two of them turned into two beams of light and kept bombarding each other. It was extremely terrifying. The nearby mountains were destroyed and the earth cracked. It was like the end of the world. Outside it was silent. Everyone held their breath and watched with wide eyes. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu had exchanged more than 50 moves. Heavens, what kind of combat strength is this? It's too terrifying. Is he still in the king's realm? With such battle prowess, even a normal first-level spiritual ocean tier martial artist wouldn't be able to withstand a few moves and would be killed. It's too terrifying. Peerless talents. They're peerless talents. Once they break through to the spirit sea realm, they'll advance by leaps and bounds. They might even be able to compete with the top 300 or even the top 200 in the Battle of Providence. Many people were discussing in shock. If someone like Jiang Taishu, who had entered the 10 Heavenly Kings 3 years ago, had broken through to the spiritual ocean realm earlier, he would probably have entered the top 300 in the ranking. Boom. Boom! Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu exchanged more than a dozen moves in a row and shattered a mountain peak. The two of them stood in the void. In Jiang Taishu's eyes, other than shock, there was also murderous intent and anger. He did not expect that he would be stopped by Lu Ming. Buzz. And NBSP, whoosh. The sound of weapons vibrating could be heard. A huge mountain appeared above Jiang Taishu's head. The mountain was made of bare rocks and was filled with all kinds of weapons. The 9 Esilavir chakras were extremely bright. It was Jiang Taishu's bloodline. Kill! Jiang Taishu waved his hand and the countless weapons on the mountain flew into his body. His aura became stronger and his skin even glowed with a metallic luster. Bang! He stepped on the void and charged toward Lu Ming. It seems that he has finally used his strongest combat power. That's good. It's time to end this battle. Brave. Lu Ming said softly. The prison-suppressing steel's bloodline erupted. Lu Ming stepped forward and struck out with his palm. The prison-suppressing heaven art. There seemed to be a prison-suppressing steel in his palm, suppressing the 9 nether prison with supreme power. Thump. Lu Ming's palm and Jiang Taishu's palm collided. The space where the two exchanged blows trembled violently, creating water-like ripples that spread in all directions. Then, everyone saw a figure rapidly retreating. The retreating figure was Jiang Taishu. One of his arms was trembling, and his palm was even a little twisted. The people who saw this scene could not believe their eyes. The ancient Jiang family cultivated the immemorial divine weapon technique, and their bodies were even tougher than spiritual weapons. Every move they made contained boundless power that could destroy everything. However, in a head-on confrontation, he was actually suppressed by Lu Ming. His palm was injured and he was at a disadvantage. Impossible! Jiang Taishu roared at the sky in disbelief. What's impossible? You're strong, I'm stronger. Lu Ming stepped forward and continued to attack. Lu Ming, you must die. Jiang Taishu let out a long howl and attacked again. However, after a few moves, he was forced to retreat. His arms were severely deformed, and even his bone armor was shattered. Blood spurted out of his mouth. If you want to kill me, then I'll kill you. Lu Ming strode forward, his eyes filled with murderous intent. In the outside world, everyone was shocked. Not only had Lu Ming defeated Jiang Taishu, but he was also going to kill him. Jiang Taishu was a rare talent of the Jiang family. In the future, he had the potential to compete for the throne of the Jiang family's successor. Lu Ming actually wanted to kill him. How bold! Bang! Jiang Taishu was no match for Lu Ming. He was sent flying by Lu Ming and coughed up blood. At least 7 or 8 of the bone armor on his body was broken. Lu Ming, if you dare to kill me, the Jiang family will not let you off. Jiang Taishu roared. Ha! The chosen warrior of the Jiang family, an ancient family. You lost, and you still have the nerve to use your family name to suppress me? Now that the Battle of Kismet is approaching, do the elders of your Jiang family dare to attack me? Lu Ming laughed without fear. For a large family like the Jiang family, if the disciples behind them lost in a fight with their peers, their elders would not take action, because they would not have the face to do so. The competition in the big clans was even more brutal. Not only did they have to compete with their own kind, but they also had to compete with the geniuses of other forces. Only then would they have the qualifications to inherit the clan. Damn it! Jiang Taishu roared and retreated frantically, trying to escape. He had to escape and gather all the other powerhouses of the Jiang family in the world of the Heavenly King's monument to kill Lu Ming. You can't escape. Lu Ming gave chase. He had always been decisive. Since he had offended them, he would kill them. Young Master Taishu, run. We'll stop him. 3 sharp lights suddenly flew over from the distance and blasted toward Lu Ming. They were 3 old men, like 3 divine weapons, extremely terrifying. Without a doubt, they were the 3 powerful old monsters of the Jiang family. Jiang Taishu was overjoyed. He performed a secret skill and fled forward madly. You're looking for death. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He instantly struck out with his palms and kicked out. The 3 old men were sent flying backward, coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. Their eyes were filled with shock. Each of the three of them had cultivated the immemorial divine weapon technique for more than 500 years. They were definitely top experts among peak-tier kings. They could kill a large number of ordinary peak-tier kings with a wave of their hands. However, despite the three of them joining forces, they were still attacked by Lu Ming until they vomited blood. And NBSP, it was too terrifying. Kill! Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven-treading steps and flashed past like a phantom. He struck out with his palm. Bang! One of the elders was torn into pieces and all his steel chi went to Lu Ming. After that, his figure did not stop and he continued to kill. Soon, the other 2 old men also followed in his footsteps. Each of the 3 elders had close to 100 chi. In this way, Lu Ming's chi had skyrocketed to more than 400. It's a pity that Jiang Taishu ran away. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning as he looked in the direction where Jiang Taishu had fled. At this moment, Jiang Taishu had already disappeared. Lu Ming took a step forward. He continued to search for prey while refining the blood essence. The energy of the blood essence was all transferred to the second bloodline. Since the higher the level of the prison-suppressing steel's bloodline, the more powerful the prison-suppressing heavenly technique would be, Lu Ming decided to upgrade the prison-suppressing steel's bloodline first. In the outside world, countless people were shocked. Jiang Taishu, the most promising genius who was most likely to win the first place, had been defeated so early. In the end, the 3 elders risked their lives to stop Lu Ming and they managed to escape. It was beyond everyone's expectations. Chapter 743. 743 join forces to kill Lu Ming. Could it be that Lu Ming will be able to get first place this time? It's possible, but I don't know if there are any other dark horses. For example, the Sky Corpse Sex Corpse King and that fatty are both extremely terrifying and unfathomable. The other members of the previous 10 heavenly kings are also extremely terrifying. In the past few years, no one knows how strong they are. Perhaps they are even stronger than Jiang Taishu? Furthermore, the heavenly steel world is not a one-on-one battle. It's hard to say who will take first place. Lu Ming's actions caused a lot of discussion. Half an hour later, Jiang Taishu's figure appeared hundreds of thousands of miles away. As soon as he appeared, he coughed up another mouthful of blood. Lu Ming, I'll kill you. Jiang Taishu growled in a low voice. He was extremely angry. He had actually lost to Lu Ming. It was simply unbelievable and hard for him to accept. This time, he was very ambitious and was determined to win the first place. However, he was defeated by Lu Ming on the first day. This was a huge blow to him. He hated Lu Ming to the core. He must kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming, no matter how strong you are, you're alone. I'll kill you after I gather the other experts of the Jiang family. I'll definitely win first place this time. Jiang Taishu's eyes glowed with malice and killing intent. Jiang Taishu, why are you in such a sorry state? Are you besieged by the Heavenly Corpse sect? A laugh sounded as 2 figures stepped through the air. Wang Ju. Jiang Taishu's eyes glinted. Wang Ju, a member of the ancient Wang family, ranked 8th in the last Heavenly King list. Next to Wang Ju was Wang Mie, but he was directly ignored by Jiang Taishu. What's wrong? Wang Ju, you want to take advantage of my injuries to steal my monument chi? Jiang Taishu looked at Wang Ju warily. Brother Jiang, what kind of person do you think I, Wang Ju, am? Even if I have to fight with you, I won't take advantage of you. But did you really get besieged by the Heavenly Corpse sect? Wang Ju said. It's not the Heavenly Corpse sect. Would you believe me if I told you that I was defeated by a single person? Jiang Taishu shook his head. What? Was he defeated by a single person? Was it Luan Zhan, Dong Fangyu, or First Ghost? Wang Ju's expression changed drastically as he said a few names. These people were all as famous as them and were extremely powerful. Jiang Taishu shook his head. Neither. He's a rising genius named Lu Ming and Wang Ju. I suggest we work together. Otherwise, we're no match for him alone. Lu Ming, Lu Ming. Wang Ju's eyes flickered. Lu Ming, it's him? On the side, Wang Mie's expression changed drastically. Oh, I have forgotten that you seem to have a grudge with Lu Ming. Jiang Taishu's eyes flashed. Lu Ming, that little bastard, is actually so powerful? Wang Mie was in disbelief. Hee, there's nothing to lie about. You're just lucky. If Lu Ming were to unleash his full power, he would only be able to kill you in a few moves. Jiang Taishu looked at Wang Mie and chuckled. I really didn't expect that you would lose to Lu Ming in a head-on battle. Wang Ju's eyes were extremely solemn. He was Jiang Taishu's rival and he knew very well how terrifying Jiang Taishu was. If even Jiang Taishu had been defeated, then he was probably no match for Jiang Taishu either. This person's existence is a huge obstacle for us to fight for first place. Other than first place, what's the difference between the other rankings? Jiang Taishu said. Oh, are you thinking of joining forces to get rid of Lu Ming together? Wang Ju said. That's right. You guys should join forces and gather the other experts from the Jiang and Wang families. Also, aren't some of Lu Ming's friends here as well? That girlfriend of his is very pretty, and there's also that trash from the Golden Sword sect. As long as we capture them, Lu Ming will definitely be wary. It will be much easier to kill him then. Jiang Taishu said with a cold glint in his eyes. Jiang Taishu, it seems like you're really afraid of Lu Ming. Alright, I promise you. I'll gather the people from the two families first, then capture Lu Ming's friends. Then, I'll wait for Lu Ming at the exit. Wang Ju laughed. Alright, let's get moving. We'll meet at the exit. Jiang Taishu said with a cold face. Wang Ju smiled and left with Wang Mie. I'll deal with you guys after I'm done with that Lu Ming bastard. Jiang Taishu's eyes were cold. He took out a few pills and swallowed them. Then he sat cross-legged and began to heal himself. 2 hours later, Jiang Taishu rose to his feet, transformed into a beam of light, and disappeared without a trace. In the world of the heavenly steel, not even voice transmission jade talismans could be used. If one wanted to find someone, they could only fly and try their luck. However, many people from the Jiang family and the Wang family had come in. Gradually, some people had gathered. Jiang Taishu had even formed an alliance with Wan Zhan from the Wan family to kill Lu Ming together. People from the three ancient families started to search for Xian Yanqing, Jian Filiu, and the people from the Metal Sword sect. This time, other than Jian Filiu, the Golden Sword sect had sent a total of 29 people. However, only 9 of them had successfully made it in. Jin Zhaokai was one of the 9. He had cultivated for more than 800 years and was an extremely powerful pinnacle king tier in the Golden Sword sect. However, at his age, the chances of breaking through the Spirit Ocean realm were extremely small. However, the Heavenly King ranking was an opportunity, and he wanted to give it a try. Now, he had already gathered 72 strands of qi. Perhaps there was still hope. At this moment, he suddenly stopped. In front of him, 3 figures were walking over. Jiang Taishu. Jin Zhaokai's expression changed. The leader of the 3 people in front was Jiang Taishu. Looking at the cultivation technique you're cultivating, you're from the Metal Sword sect, right? Jiang Taishu asked with a gloomy face. That's right. I am from the Golden Sword sect. If young Master Jiang needs the monument qi, I am willing to offer it all. Jin Zhaokai had lost all hope when he encountered Jiang Taishu. He knew that he could not hold back the monument qi this time. He could only exchange the monument qi for his life. Offer the monument qi? Wouldn't I still get the qi of the steel after killing you? Jiang Taishu laughed coldly. At the same time, he moved and pounced toward Jin Zhaokai, revealing his sharp edge. Jin Zhaokai was shocked and retreated frantically. At the same time, he resisted with all his might, and the bright golden sword light slashed at Jiang Taishu. But in the next moment, the sword light was broken. His body shook violently, and one of his arms was broken. Pucci! Jiang Taishu's palm pierced through Jin Zhaokai's heart. But. Jin Zhaokai's eyes widened, full of unwillingness. Normally speaking, as long as one offered the monument qi, no one would be so ruthless. This was because they were all from the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace, not the Heavenly Corpse sect or the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace. But if you want to blame someone, blame your Slaviers for being too close to that bastard Lu Ming. With that, he burst forth with energy and Jin Zhao died. Jiang Taishu waved his hand and put away Jin Zhaokai's golden sword. He said, "Let's go and find the next one." Chapter 744. 744 Despicable Means. This scene was happening in every corner of the Divine King Monument world. The 9 powerhouses from the Golden Sword sect who had entered were all killed. In the outside world, countless people saw this scene. Despicable, despicable. The remaining members of the Golden Sword sect who had not entered the Heavenly King Steel's world were all furious. Jiang Taishu and the others were too despicable. What are you guys talking about? In the outside world, there were also people from the Jiang and Wang families who had their eyes on the Golden Sword sect. The Metal Sword sect's people's expressions changed drastically, and they didn't continue speaking. The world of the Heavenly King Tablet is not like the battle stage where you can fight one-on-one. You can use all kinds of methods, don't you understand? Once you enter, you must be prepared to be killed. Someone from the Jiang family shouted coldly. Although the others were indignant, they could only keep their mouths shut because the ancient family was too powerful. Look, that's Lu Ming's girlfriend and Jian Filiu. They're going to meet Jiang Taishu. Wang Ju is also here. Wang Ju is also nearby. It's over, this is dangerous. On the steel, 2 figures appeared. They were Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu. Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu met by chance half a day after entering the Divine King Monument. They decided to work together. I wonder where Brother Lu is? Jian Filiu said. Don't worry about that fellow. No one here is his match. Xian Yanqing was very confident in Lu Ming. Suddenly, Xian Yanqing stopped. Jian Filiu was stunned. The next moment his expression changed. In front of him, more than a dozen figures appeared. The leader was Jiang Taishu. Beside him were 2 young men, who were obviously the most powerful existences of the Jiang family. The other dozen or so people were all big men and old men, exuding sharp auras. Jiang Taishu. Jian Filiu's expression changed. He sent a message to Xian Yanqing, Miss Xie, there are too many of them. Let's retreat first. The other party has killing intent, he might not let us go. Xian Yanqing said. Buzz. Buzz. Jiang Taishu and the others were extremely fast. Like spirit weapons, they cut through the void and appeared in front of Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu in an instant. Haha, Jian Filiu, and you, Lu Ming's woman, you won't be able to escape today. But don't worry, I won't kill you. I'll cripple your cultivation and then lead you to kill you in front of Lu Ming. Jiang Taishu's voice was very cold. It seems that you've been defeated by Lu Ming. Otherwise, why would you use such a method to deal with Lu Ming? Xian Yanqing said indifferently, his eyes filled with contempt. Bitch, shut up. Jiang Taishu's sore spot was touched. He growled and glared at Xian Yanqing with a ferocious expression. Bitch, Lu Ming is dead for sure. And you, I won't waste you. I'll serve you well in front of Lu Ming. Hee, a heaven's favorite from an ancient family? An expert on the Heavenly King ranking? You're just a piece of trash. You've been defeated and you're trying to win through despicable means. You'll never be able to achieve anything. Xian Yanqing sneered, his face full of disdain. Bitch, you're looking for death. Jiang Taishu roared in anger. Ha, this girl has a sharp mouth. I like it. With a loud laugh, Wang Ju and Wang Mie brought over a dozen people and walked over. Jian Filiu's face was extremely serious, while Xian Yanqing frowned slightly. Wang Ju, you've come at the right time. Have you settled everything? Jiang Taishu said. Of course. Wang Ju waved his hand, and 4 golden combat swords flew out and stabbed into the ground below. Jiang Taishu also waved his hand. 5 golden combat swords flew out and stabbed into the ground. 9 golden battle swords were arranged in a row. You guys? Animal. Jian Filiu roared and his face looked terrible. Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and the others were actually hunting the members of the Metal Sword sect. With 9 members of the Metal Sword sect killed, Jian Filiu's eyes turned red. They shouldn't have died. They can only blame themselves for being too close to Lu Ming. As for all of you, you will soon follow in their footsteps. Jiang Taishu smiled hideously. At this moment, the outside world was also frozen here. Many people were indignant and felt that the actions of Jiang Taishu and the others were shameful. However, the other party was a heaven's favorite from one of the 6 great ancient families. They didn't dare to say anything and could only keep it in their stomachs. At this moment, Jiang Taishu waved his hand and led a dozen masters of the Jiang family towards Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu. Sky Devil Force Field. Xian Yanqing waved his hands, and the Sky Demon Force Field enveloped Jian Filiu and herself. Kill! Jiang Taishu roared and rushed into the field like a divine weapon. More than a dozen Jiang family masters also rushed into the Sky Demon Power Field. As soon as they charged into the Sky Demon Power Field, their expressions changed drastically, and they felt an unimaginable pressure. Ever since Xian Yanqing had successfully fused the Destruction Will and the Wind Will, the power of the Sky Demon Power Field had increased by a large margin. In addition, her bloodline had undergone nirvana and she had reached the 9th level of the King stage, making her even more powerful. Destruction Cut. The terrifying cutting power started to cut the people of the Jiang family crazily. Some of them immediately coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. They were severely injured. Break! Jiang Taishu let out a long howl. His palm was like a heavenly blade, cutting through everything. With a single strike, the force field in front of him was broken. Jiang Taishu strode forward and rushed in front of Xian Yanqing. The light in Jian Filiu's eyes turned golden. Dazzling golden light filled his hand and turned into a sharp sword light, slashing toward Jiang Taishu. Jumping clowns! You dare to attack me? You're looking for death. Jiang Taishu struck out with his palm again, which turned into a divine sword and crashed into the dazzling golden sword light. The sword light was shattered, and Jian Filiu quickly retreated. His face turned red and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The difference between him and Jiang Taishu was too great. Even with the help of Xian Yanqing's Sky Demon Power Field, he was still far from Jiang Taishu's opponent. Jiang Taishu was like a divine weapon, unstoppable. He continued to break through the Sky Demon Force Field and went for Xian Yanqing. The right hand of the Sky Demon. Xian Yanqing mumbled. A black light bloomed from his body as he pressed his hand forward. In the air, a beautiful arm condensed like the most beautiful work of art in the world and shot toward Jiang Taishu. Jiang Taishu struck out with his palm, which collided with the beautiful arm. In an instant, Jiang Taishu's expression changed slightly. His body trembled and he took a step back. In the process of clashing with Xian Yanqing, he was bombarded by a powerful destructive cutting force. In the Sky Demon Power Field, he was actually at a disadvantage. This made his killing intent even more intense. First, he was defeated by Lu Ming. Now, he was at a disadvantage against Xian Yanqing. He could not accept it. Kill! Jiang Taishu's bloodline exploded and his aura grew stronger as he charged towards Xian Yanqing. Jian Filiu, you deal with those people. Leave this man to me. Xian Yanqing said to Jian Filiu. All right. Jian Filiu's body flashed and golden sword light bloomed, attacking the other people of the Jiang family. Those people were also very strong. They kept breaking through the Sky Demon Force Field, giving Xian Yanqing a lot of pressure. Not only did Xian Yanqing have to control the force field, but he also had to deal with Jiang Taishu. This caused the spectators to be extremely shocked. It was obvious that Xian Yanqing could overpower Jiang Taishu if he was alone. Chapter 745. 745 The Powerful Fatty. Jianghu wasn't affected by the sky demon force field. He used guerrilla tactics. A golden sword light kept moving around, attacking the Jiang family members from time to distract them and help Xian Yanqing reduce the pressure. Jiang Taishu went crazy and charged at Xian Yanqing. However, Xian Yanqing's bloodline martial skill was extremely powerful. Combined with the cutting power of the sky demon force field, he had the upper hand. Jiang Taishu, it seems like you're really done for. You can't even take down a woman. On the side, Wang Ju laughed. Wang Ju, are you just going to watch the show from the side? Jiang Taishu's expression was extremely ugly. He was Wang Ju's competitor, and he knew that Wang Ju had done it on purpose. Haha. Wang Ju smiled, but he was also very shocked in his heart. He did not make a move because he thought that Jiang Taishu would be able to take down Xian Yanqing and the others without him. In fact, if Jiang Taishu could not take down Xian Yanqing in a short time, it would be a blow to his reputation. Then, he would make a move and decide the outcome in one fell swoop. However, he had never expected that Jiang Taishu would be at a disadvantage. Xian Yanqing's strength had exceeded his expectations. In the depths of his eyes, a murderous intent flashed. He suddenly agreed with Jiang Taishu's way of doing things. With these people here, would they still have a share in the first place? Jiang Taishu, let me help you win this girl over. Terrifying flames spread out from Wang Ju's body, and the surrounding temperature rose sharply. The purple flames seemed to have turned Wang Ju purple. Boom! Wang Ju's whole body was like a burning meteor, rushing into the sky demon power field and killing Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing's eyes turned serious. The hand of the heavenly devil. She formed a seal with both hands, and two beautiful arms condensed in the air. One on the left and one on the right, they struck toward Jiang Taishu and Wang Ju respectively. Slut break. Jiang Taishu turned into a heavenly weapon, like a strand of hair. He put his palms together and struck out. Rip! The void seemed to split open, and the palm struck a demonic hand. On the other side, Wang Ju's body turned into flames, burning everything as he threw out a shocking punch. Boom! Boom! The sky trembled and Xian Yanqing's face turned pale. He trembled and took 9 steps back. The sky demon power field trembled and almost dissipated. Not good. In the outside world, the metal sword sex people had very heavy expressions. Wang Ju and Jiang Taishu were too powerful when they joined forces. Who in the same realm could defeat them? In addition, the Jiang family still had more than a dozen experts, and the Wang family also had some experts who had not made a move yet. Xian Yanqing and Jianghu were probably dead. Bitch, I'll kill you if you still resist. Jiang Taishu shouted. Nest, are you guys fucking shameless? A group of people bullying 2 people. I can't stand it anymore. A voice rang out. A fat man carrying a battle axe rushed over at top speed. It's him. Everyone's heart moved. Fatty Kongjin was also the one who had reached the 20th step and shattered 28 shields. Moreover, he seemed to be very close to Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing and the others. Fatty Kongjin's arrival made Jiang Taishu and the others frown. Damn Fatty, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. Otherwise, you'll end up in a very bad state. Jiang Taishu stared at Kongjin with an unfriendly look. Fat my ass. You're the fat one. Your whole family is fat. Fatty's eyes widened as he cursed. When he turned to look at Xian Yanqing, he put on a smile. Little sister, are you all right? Who's your sister? Xian Yanqing's eyes widened. My wife is your sister. Of course, you are my sister. Where's my brother-in-law, Lu Ming? Kongjin's eyes darted left and right. Phew. Xian Yanqing was speechless. He had never seen such a shameless person. So many people joining hands to deal with 2 people. You're really shameless. Today, I'm going to deal with you. Kongjin grabbed his great axe and revealed a hint of ferocity in his eyes. You guys kill this fatty. Wang Ju waved his hand and said to the Wang family. Wang Ju had also brought more than 10 people, each of whom was an expert. Kill this fatty. Wang Mie, who was also among them, waved his hand. Kill. More than 10 Wang family experts charged toward Kong Jin. Eat my axe. Kong Jin held his axe with both hands, stepped forward, and chopped down. Poochie. The next moment, an expert of the Wang family was cut in half. With a wave of his axe, 2 of the Wang family experts were cut in half. If you want to kill me, I'll kill you first. Kong Jin's fat body was like an ancient beast. He was carrying a giant axe that was as big as a door. No one could block his axe. Everyone gasped. This fatty was too strong. Those Wang family members were definitely experts. They were extremely strong existences among those at the same level, but none of them could block his axe. Wang Mie could only feel his body trembling and cold sweat pouring down. Inhuman, this fatty was simply inhuman. He was terrifyingly strong. In the blink of an eye, 8 out of the 10 Wang family experts had been killed by the fatty. Let's go. Wang Mie turned around and ran. Trash. Kong Jin berated. He looked at Wang Ju and Jiang Taishu and said, I heard that you guys were the last batch of the bullshit 10 heavenly kings. I was just about to give it a try, so you're the one. Kong Jin pointed his battle axe at Jiang Taishu. He rushed toward Jiang Taishu with the battle axe in hand. Jiang Taishu's expression turned ugly. His palm was like a divine weapon as he struck at the fatty. Clang! Jiang Taishu's body trembled violently and he was sent flying backward. Let's go out and fight. I won't take advantage of you. Kong Jin said as he flew out of the area covered by the Sky Demon power field. Jiang Taishu's expression changed and became extremely gloomy. Kong Jin's combat strength was too terrifying. Although he had been at a disadvantage in the Sky Demon power field earlier, who knew if Kong Jin had used his full strength? Even if he had left the Sky Demon power field, he was not sure if he could defeat Kong Jin. He even had a feeling that he would not be able to defeat Kong Jin. How did this happen? Jiang Taishu roared in his heart. How could there be such a perverted person? What are you doing? If you don't dare, then hurry up and get lost. Kong Jin berated. Brother Jiang, I think we should retreat first. This fatty is unfathomable and difficult to deal with. It won't be too late to deal with them after we gather more people. Wang Ju's expression also changed, and then he sent a message to Jiang Taishu. With Kong Jin's addition, it would be impossible for them to take down Xian Yinqing and the others. Let's go! Jiang Taishu shouted and turned to leave. The rest of the people followed Jiang Taishu and left. Who? Xian Yinqing let out a long breath. Previously, she had controlled the heavenly devil force field to trap so many experts at the same time and had to launch attacks continuously. At the same time, she had to deal with Jiang Taishu, which had consumed too much energy. If they continued fighting, they might not be able to hold on. Chapter 746. 746 Chapter 746 Gathering. And NBSP, hoo-hoo. Fatty was also gasping for air. Just now, he had looked courageous and invincible as he killed the 8 experts of the Wang family. In fact, he had used all his strength. One had to know that these were all extremely powerful experts. In a battle of the same level, it was almost impossible to be killed in one move. Each and every one of them was stronger than Qin Qingshan. In order to create such an effect and intimidate Jiang Taishu and the others, the fatty had used all his strength. It had consumed a lot of his energy, and he could not maintain that terrifying combat strength for long. But fortunately, Jiang Taishu and the others were really scared off. I'm so tired. Fighting is really something that consumes a lot of energy. No, I have to quickly replenish my energy. As he said that, a roasted golden lamb leg appeared in Kong Jin's hand and he began to gnaw on it. Sister, we have to find Lu Ming's brother-in-law as soon as possible and join forces with him. Jiang Taishu and his people will definitely not let this go. Kong Jin mumbled as he gnawed on a leg of lamb. I'm telling you, I'm not your sister. He's not your brother-in-law. Xian Yanqing's eyes were wide open as he gritted his teeth. Oh look, you're all shy. You and Lu Ming will be together sooner or later. So will your sister and I. Don't worry. Kong Jin said as he gnawed on the leg of lamb. The fat on his chubby body trembled. He was extremely confident. Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth. He was speechless at this fatty and turned to leave. Brother Kong Jin, thank you for your help this time. Jian Filiu cupped his hands and said, What are you thanking me for? We're all family. Sister, wait for me. Kong Jin twisted his fat body and chased after Xian Yanqing. Jian Filiu smiled bitterly. This Kong Jin was really weird. The three of them searched for the others to seize the monument Qi while searching for Lu Ming. Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and the others were also gathering the experts of the Jiang and Wang families. In addition, there were also people from the Luan family. They also wanted to get the Dongfang family and the other two families involved, but the people of the two family heads were obviously not interested and did not agree. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, it was already the third day. There were still a few hours before the end of the 3 days. Lu Ming did not know about all that. These few days, he had been snatching the qi of the steel. Those he encountered, as long as they took the initiative to hand over the monument qi, he would not make things difficult for them. If the other party refused to comply, he would not be soft-hearted. As more and more people were eliminated, the remaining people gathered more and more qi. For every person he captured, he would obtain a large amount of steel qi. Lu Ming already had more than 2,000 strands of steel qi. This time, there were more than 10,000 people who had entered. In total, there were more than 30,000 strands of qi. He had obtained more than 2,000, which was not a small number. It was almost certain that he would enter the top 50, or even more. I haven't seen anyone from the Jiang family and the Wang family in the past few days. Also, I haven't seen Shaoqing and the others either. Lu Ming was in deep thought. He did not know if he was lucky or unlucky. 2,000 qi is definitely not enough. There are still a few more hours before it's time to leave. I'll go and block the exit first and wait for the people from the Jiang and Wang clan to arrive. Then, I'll snatch all their qi. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. He had the same idea as Jiang Taishu and the others. Jiang Taishu and the rest gathered their men to ambush Lu Ming at the exit, while Lu Ming wanted to seize the steel qi of the Jiang and Wang families at the exit. At the thought of this, Lu Ming flew in the direction of the exit. The exit of the Heavenly King Tablet world was at the center of the world. Once the 3 days are up, you have to leave through that exit. After 3 days, even if you kill someone, you won't be able to seize the steel qi. What? As he got closer to the exit, he saw a few figures. Xian Yanqing, Jian Filiu, there was still room to enter. Lu Ming was overjoyed and flew up. Lu Ming. Brother Lu. Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu's eyes lit up. They had been looking for Lu Ming for a long time but to no avail. Therefore, they wandered around the area near the exit, waiting for Lu Ming. As expected, they met him. A younger brother-in-law, we've been looking for you for a long time. Kong Jin stepped forward and grinned. Younger brother-in-law? Lu Ming had a puzzled look on his face. When did he become the fatty's brother-in-law? That's right, she's my wife's sister, so you're my brother-in-law. Kong Jin pointed at Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing's face darkened and he gritted his teeth. Lu Ming's lips trembled. This fatty was really a talent. Xian Yanjuan's cold and aloof figure appeared in Lu Ming's mind. He was like a pure and holy fairy who was aloof and looked down on others. If Xian Yanjuan knew that this fatty had taken her as his wife, what would his expression be like? Lu Ming did not know why, but he was looking forward to it. How have you been these past few days? Did you run into the Jiang family and the Wang family? Lu Ming said. Both Jian Filiu and Xian Yanqing's faces turned dark. What's wrong? You guys encountered it? Lu Ming's expression changed. That's right, not only did we meet, we even had a big fight. If it wasn't for Brother Kong's timely rescue, Miss Xie and I would have been in danger. Jian Filiu sighed. Lu Ming, did you defeat Jiang Taishu? Xian Yanqing asked. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. Jiang Taishu joined forces with the Wang family and killed all the members of the Golden Sword sect. Now, he wants to capture us to threaten you. Xian Yanqing said. What? In an instant, Lu Ming was enraged and a cold killing intent burst out from his body. Xian Yanqing briefly explained what had happened during this period of time. Jiang Taishu should be killed. Lu Ming bellowed. He did not expect Jiang Taishu to be so despicable. He was no match for Lu Ming, but Jiang Taishu had gathered his men to kill the Golden Sword sect members and even wanted to capture Xian Yanqing and the others to threaten Lu Ming. Was this the pride of an ancient family? Then they must have gathered their men and are waiting for us at the exit. Good, very good. This time, I must kill Jiang Taishu. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning, filled with cold killing intent. Brother Lu, they have more people. Are you confident? Jian Filiu said. If there are too many people, then I'll take them down one by one. Little Qing, I'll need your cooperation later. Let's go all out and clear the small fish first. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning. Ah, good, interesting. Watch me show off my power this time. Kong Jin then took out a demon beast leg and gnawed on it in order to replenish his strength. The four of them rested for a while, adjusting their condition to the peak, and then headed towards the exit. At this moment, there were many people gathered at the exit. Jiang Taishu had brought more than 30 experts of the Jiang family. Wang Ju had also brought over 20 experts from the Wang family. In addition, Luan Zhan was a proud son of heaven from the ancient Luan family. He was as famous as Jiang Taishu and the others, and he also brought more than 20 experts from the Luan family. When the three parties gathered, there were close to 80 people. This was a terrifying power. Every single one of them was a peak-tier king, and some of them could even compete for the top 108. They were waiting for Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the rest. Chapter 747. 747 Chapter 747 Defeating them one by one. In the outside world, the scene on the Heavenly King Monument was also being switched between Lu Ming and Jiang Taishu. Lu Ming and the others are about to reach the exit. They'll meet Jiang Taishu and the others soon. Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and Luan Zhan add up to almost 80 experts. Lu Ming and the others can't possibly be a match for them. Wouldn't they be courting death if they charged forward like this? Maybe they have a way? This battle will definitely be exciting. Many people's eyes lit up as they stared at the image on the Divine King's tablet. There were also many people discussing it. Boom. Boom. At this moment, everyone suddenly felt two auras as deep as the ocean above their heads. An enormous pressure pressed down on them like the ancient divine mountains. Everyone looked up in shock. In the sky, two young figures had appeared. One of them was dressed in a purple robe and looked like a noble young master. However, his body was emitting an extremely hot aura, like a sun floating there. The other person was wearing a black robe and had his hands behind his back. He was like a peerless divine weapon that could destroy the sky. That's Wang Yan. Wang Yan from the Wang clan. And Jiang Taichong. Why are Jiang Taichong and Wang Yan, who are ranked in the top 100 on the list of top 1,000 talents, here? Aren't they cultivating in seclusion in a secret place to prepare for the Battle of Providence? That's right. They shouldn't have any interest in the Heavenly King ranking. Everyone was discussing in shock. Jiang Taishu is getting more and more useless. I thought he could win the first place after 3 years of silence. Jiang Taichong put his hands behind his back and smiled faintly. The new guys who rose up this year are quite interesting. Wang Yan smiled faintly. It's interesting, but it's a pity that his cultivation is too weak. It's not worth mentioning. Jiang Taishu looked at the scene on the Heavenly King's tablet as if he was watching a good show. If they didn't happen to pass by this time, they wouldn't have bothered to watch the Heavenly King ranking battle. Their goal was the battle of karmic luck. The others suppressed the shock in their hearts and continued to look at the screen. At this moment, Lu Ming and the group were getting closer and closer to the exit. Finally, both parties met. Boom, boom, boom. When they saw Lu Ming and the rest, Jiang Taishu and the rest emitted a powerful aura. Lu Ming, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Jiang Taishu said coldly. Wait for me? You're not convinced after losing the last time? You want to fight me again? All right, I'll take you on any time. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Jiang Taishu gritted his teeth, his face gloomy. Lu Ming was rubbing it in. Moreover, he knew very well that he was not Lu Ming's match. Why would he fight him? Lu Ming, don't think that I'm afraid of you. However, this is not a fighting ring. I have a better way to defeat you. Why do we need to fight? Jiang Taishu said, if you're scared, then say you're scared. If you don't dare, then say you don't dare. And you're still acting so high and mighty. What other methods are there? You're just relying on more to win. Lu Ming said in disdain. The winner is king, and the loser is bandit. Don't you understand this principle? Let's attack together. At this point, Jiang Taishu could no longer care about his pride. He only had one thought in his mind, and that was to kill Lu Ming. In his opinion, Lu Ming was the one who caused him to lose face. If Lu Ming was not that powerful, if Lu Ming had obediently allowed him to kill him from the beginning, why would he do this? It was all Lu Ming's fault. The Jiang family, the Wang family, and the Luan family charged at Lu Ming and the rest. The aura of nearly 80 experts converged, and it was terrifying. Retreat. Lu Ming muttered, and the four of them retreated quickly. After that, the four of them split up and retreated in four directions. If you have the guts, don't run. Jiang Taishu roared. Let's fight one-on-one if you have the guts. Lu Ming sneered. Wang Ju, chaotic battle, let's kill one of them each. Jiang Taishu shouted. He led more than 30 Jiang family experts and chased after Lu Ming. Wang Ju, on the other hand, charged towards Xian Yanqing and Luan Zhan, leading his men towards Kong Jin. As for Jian Filiu, they did not care about him at all. As long as they killed Lu Ming and the other two, killing Jian Filiu would be a piece of cake. Xian Yanqing's figure was like a demon, forming a series of phantoms. His speed was extremely fast, and he kept changing his position in the air. As for Kong Jin, he was like a fierce beast, running wildly in the air. Buzz! Buzz! Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps and turned into a stream of light, appearing in front of the Wang family members in an instant. Xian Yanqing's figure flashed, leaving behind afterimages. Then he pressed his hands together and the sky demon force field burst out, enveloping some of the Wang family members. Exploding star fist. Lu Ming seized the opportunity and threw hundreds of punches in succession. Hundreds of fist gleams drowned 7 to 8 Wang family experts. Destruction cut. Xian Yanqing muttered as he unleashed a destructive slash. Their screams could be heard. Ah, damn it. Wang Ju charged towards Xian Yanqing like a madman. However, after Lu Ming threw hundreds of punches, he appeared beside Xian Yanqing in a flash. He used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps and turned into a stream of light, leaving the place. As for the 7 or 8 Wang family masters who were surrounded by Xian Yanqing, they were already dead. The next moment, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing appeared behind the Jiang family. Xian Yanqing reached out his hand, and the sky demon force field covered 7 or 8 of the Jiang family masters. As for Lu Ming, he launched hundreds of fist radiance. They didn't pick on Jiang Taishu. There were a few other extremely powerful existences, but they picked on those who were slightly weaker. These 7 or 8 people were also successfully killed. Damn it, kill. Jiang Taishu changed his direction and charged at Lu Ming in a frenzy. However, Lu Ming hugged Xian Yanqing and their figures flickered. They appeared in another direction and attacked together, killing another 5 to 6 Jiang family experts. The speed of Lu Ming's 9 dragons' heaven-treading steps was too fast. It was a divine-level martial arts technique, and no one of the same level could compare to it. Damn it, Lu Ming, don't run if you have the guts. Stop and fight head-on. Jiang Taishu roared. All right, let's have a one-on-one. Lu Ming's voice was heard. Jiang Taishu stopped talking. Lu Ming's figure flashed continuously. More than 10 experts from the Jiang family and the Wang family were killed. Streams of steel qi flew towards Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Both of them had more than 3,000 strands of steel qi. Tragic, too tragic. Jiang Taishu had brought more than 30 experts with him, but now there were only about 10 left, and all of them looked pale. Wang Ju was even worse off. He only had 5 or 6 people left with him. Ah, Lu Ming, I want you to die. Wang Ju roared. Gather, let's gather together. Don't split up. Jiang Taishu roared. The three parties quickly gathered together. Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and Luan Zhan each led a few of their strongest experts and guarded 3 sides to prevent Lu Ming from ambushing them. Lu Ming and the rest had also spread out and surrounded Jiang Taishu and the rest. This scene was extremely comical. The 4 of them surrounded dozens of people. Chapter 748. 748 Chapter 748 Powerful Counterattack. In the outside world, the others were also a little stunned. Earlier, Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and Luan Zhan had led nearly 80 experts from the 3 great ancient families to kill Lu Ming. In the end, dozens of them had died, and the rest were surrounded by Lu Ming's group of 4. This scene was destined to be a big joke in the East Continent. At this moment, Jiang Taishu, Wang Ju, and Luan Zhan all had extremely ugly expressions. They could not wait to turn Lu Ming and the other 3 into ashes. They knew that after today, they would definitely become a laughingstock and would be looked down upon by the other top 1,000 talents. They might even lose in the competition between their families. In each of the 6 great ancient families, they weren't the only chosen. Each of them had to bravely step forward, trampling over the other chosen before they could take control of the ancient family. However, if today's situation were to spread out, they would probably not have another chance. How could they not hate him? How could they not be angry? Jiang Taishu, what's wrong? You guys aren't going to make a move? If that's the case, you guys won't be able to get first place. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Lu Ming, I swear that from now on, there will be no place for you in the East Baron. Jiang Taishu roared. Haha, Jiang Taishu, don't flatter yourself. Do you think the Jiang family will send their elders to stand up for you after your performance today? Lu Ming sneered. Jiang Taishu gritted his teeth. He knew that Lu Ming was right. He could only use his own energy if he wanted to find trouble with Lu Ming. However, I don't want to just let it go like this. You're courting death. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. I'll definitely take back the lives of the Golden Sword sect's 9 disciples. Today, I'll definitely kill you. Lu Ming, you're only relying on your speed to escape. Do you dare to fight me head-on? Jiang Taishu sneered. As you wish. Lu Ming stepped forward, his long hair flying in the wind and his fighting spirit soaring. Just now, he had successfully weakened the strength of Jiang Taishu and the others. Now it was time for a head-on battle. Lu Ming, leave the Wang family to me. I'll hold them back. Xian Yanqing's figure moved and appeared in front of Wang Ju and the others. Miss Xia, I'll go with you. Jian Filiu appeared beside Xian Yanqing, intending to assist her. Brother Kong, how about delaying the chaotic family? Lu Ming looked at Kong Jin. Leave it to me. I'll let them know how powerful I am. Kong Jin grinned. Lu Ming could not see through Kong Jin. He felt that it was extremely powerful and gave him a sense of danger. There were very few people of the same level that could give Lu Ming a sense of danger. Although Luan Zhan was strong, he was not one of the top 10 Heavenly Kings from the last Heavenly King competition. He was ranked 602nd on the list of top 1,000 talents, which was slightly weaker than Jiang Taishu and Wang Ju. Kong Jin should be able to stall for a while. Lu Ming, on the other hand, was facing Jiang Taishu and the other Jiang family experts alone. He wanted to kill Jiang Taishu. The others in the outside world were also extremely shocked. Lu Ming and the rest were going to take the initiative and attack aggressively. It was unbelievable. One had to know that the peak-tier king tiers of the three great families were all experts. Some of them were existences that could compete for the top 108, but they actually wanted to launch an attack with only 4 people. This had never happened before in history. Interesting. Even spirit embryo realm experts like Dongfang Hao and Enlightened 3 Corpse revealed looks of anticipation. Sky Devil Force Field. Xian Yanqing made the first move, and the Sky Demon Force Field enveloped Wang Ju and the others. The Wang clan only had 6 people left. However, they were all experts. Do it! Wang Ju shouted. The 6 men from the Wang family were like 6 blazing suns, trying to break through the demonic power field and rush towards Xian Yanqing. However, in the Sky Demon power field, a terrifying cutting power burst out. Other than Wang Ju, it was extremely difficult for others to break it. With a dazzling golden light, Jian Filiu rushed into the Sky Demon power field. He didn't attack Wang Ju, but kept wandering in the Sky Demon power field. The sharp sword light kept stabbing at the other 5 people, hindering their movements. As for Xian Yanqing, he used the Sky Demon hand to attack Wang Ju. Wang Ju was at a disadvantage and was suppressed by Xian Yanqing. Haha, watch me, heaven-suppressing demonic axe. Kong Jin laughed loudly. His fat body actually swelled up again. The battle axe in his hand, which was as big as a door, madly chopped toward the members of the Luan family. Boom! Boom! Kong Jin stepped in the air, causing the space to tremble. Each of his axe strikes seemed to be able to split open the sky and destroy everything. 8 rebellious slashes. In chaotic battle, he displayed the ultimate technique of the Luan family. 1 strike after another, and finally, 8 strikes converged into 1 strike, which collided with the battle axe that had advanced. However, the moment they clashed, Luan Zhan's saber trembled violently and almost exploded. His body was sent flying back like a cannonball, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Luan Zhan, who was ranked 602nd on the list of top 1,000 talents, spat out a mouthful of blood after being hit by Kong Jin's axe. Earth concept and shattering concept. Luan Zhan shouted in disbelief. Kong Jin had actually cultivated 2 extremely terrifying mentalities, the Earth mentality and the shattering mentality. Moreover, both of them were at the 2nd level and had been successfully fused. How terrifying was it to have 2 special intents successfully fused together? Die! Kong Jin wielded a battle axe the size of a door and charged toward the Luan family. Kong Jin killed several people in a row, and no one could stop him. Let's join forces and kill him. Chaotic battle roared. The Heavenly King Steel world was a pure martial arts world. They couldn't even form a battle formation. They could only gather everyone's power to fight against the void. Nearly 30 masters of the chaotic family attacked at the same time, and dozens of attacks poured toward Kong Jin. Nest, there are too many people. It's not easy to fight. The air advance battle axe was waved, forming an iron wall to block the attack. The fat on his body trembled non-stop. They would then look for an opportunity to counterattack. The members of the Luan family did not dare to be distracted. They could only gather together and attack Kong Jin continuously. Otherwise, Kong Jin would seize the opportunity to counterattack and kill one of them. The Wang clan and the Luan clan were both held back. Jiang Taishu's expression turned even uglier. Kill! Lu Ming did not waste any more time. He strode forward, and his aura burst out one after another. In the end, 4 kinds of intent surrounded his body, raising his aura to the limit. Let's join hands! Jiang Taishu shouted. With him as the leader, the remaining dozen or so Jiang family experts joined forces and charged toward Lu Ming. Suppress the heavens and earth. I'm invincible. Lu Ming let out a long howl and used the prison-suppressing heavenly art to strike out with his palm. Boom! A dazzling light flashed. The joint attack of the Jiang family was actually dispersed by Lu Ming's palm. Lu Ming advanced again and struck out with his palm. Bang! An old man's palm collided with Lu Ming's. He let out a blood-curdling screech as his body was torn into pieces. How can he be so strong? Jiang Taishu cried out in disbelief. Last time, I didn't use my full strength and you managed to escape. This time, you will die. Lu Ming let out a long howl and continuously struck out with his palms. The last time, Lu Ming had only used 2 intense wind and thunder. This time, he had used all 4 intense. Lu Ming's combat strength had reached its peak. Bang! Bang! 2 more elders were split into pieces by Lu Ming. Chapter 749. 749 Killing Jiang Taishu. Kill him. Jiang Taishu seized the opportunity and slashed his palm at Lu Ming's waist like a heavenly knife. However, Lu Ming did not dodge. His spine twisted like a dragon and shook slightly, clashing with Jiang Taishu's palm. Bang! With a dull boom, Jiang Taishu's body trembled and he was forced to retreat. Impossible! Jiang Taishu cried out in disbelief. His palm, which could break through everything, hit Lu Ming's waist. Not only did it not cut Lu Ming into 2, but it was also forced back by Lu Ming. How was this possible? How could he know the marvels of the prison-suppressing heavenly art? Not only could the prison-suppressing heaven technique be cultivated to the hands and feet, but it could also be cultivated to the other parts of the body. At the highest level, every muscle in the body would be able to unleash the immense power of the prison-suppressing heaven technique, suppressing everything. After this period of cultivation, Lu Ming's prison-suppressing heaven technique had made further progress. Not only could he attack with his hands and feet, but he could also attack with his waist. Just now, he had used the prison-suppressing heaven technique with his waist and forced Jiang Taishu back. What a terrifying bloodline martial technique. It must be a demigod-level bloodline martial technique. Dong Fenghao's eyes glowed as he spoke slowly. Demigod-level bloodline martial technique? It's really terrifying. Many people exclaimed. Generally speaking, to comprehend a demigod-level martial technique from the bloodline, one would need to be at sea of soul realm and above. Moreover, it was very difficult for ordinary bloodlines. Only those with divine bloodlines could easily comprehend demigod-level bloodline martial techniques. In order to unleash the power of a demigod-level martial technique, one would need to be at least at the sea of soul realm. At the king's realm, one's Jinyuan would not be strong enough, so they would not be able to unleash much power. However, it was obvious that Lu Ming had comprehended a demigod-level bloodline martial art technique when he was only in the king's realm. Kill! Lu Ming's left hand burst out with a terrifying devouring power that enveloped the Jiang family members. His right hand was like a prison-suppressing steel that pressed down. Enveloped by the devouring power, the members of the Jiang family felt that their bloodline power was unstable, and their blood essence was faintly throbbing. Their combat strength had weakened even more. Bang! Bang! With one palm and one kick, Lu Ming killed 2 Jiang family experts. In just a few breaths, Lu Ming had killed 6 Jiang family experts. He was extremely ferocious. How can he be so strong? How can he be so strong? Jiang Taishu's eyes were wide open, as if he could not accept this. Jiang Taishu has lost his will to fight. He's definitely going to lose. Someone sighed. But, this man is a monster. Run! Jiang Taishu suddenly shouted. His confidence had completely collapsed. He turned around and ran toward the exit. The exit was like a door. Once one ran in, they would be transported out. You can't run away. Lu Ming took a step forward and his body was like a stream of light. He caught up with Jiang Taishu in a few moments and struck his palm at Jiang Taishu. Bang! Jiang Taishu was sent flying. He coughed up blood and his eyes were full of fear. Save me, save me! Wang Ju, fight back, save me! Jiang Taishu shouted. At this moment, he no longer had his previous arrogance and the ambition he had before the start of the Heavenly King ranking battle. He was simply like a pitiful rat crossing the street, a pitiful worm. Right now, he didn't want anything but to live. However, at this moment, how could Wang Ju and Enaijan save him? They themselves were extremely shocked. Buzz. And NBSP, whoosh. At this moment, a group of figures flew over and stopped in the distance. First Ghost, save me. Let's work together and kill this man. Did you see how much chi he has? With him around, you won't be able to get first place. Jiang Taishu shouted madly. The people who came later were the experts of the Heavenly Corpse sect. The leader was a young man who was covered in a black robe. His eyes were full of ghostly chi. First Ghost's eyes swept across and he was shocked. However, when he saw the steel chi in the Heavenly King Steel's shadow above Lu Ming's head, his eyes flashed with killing intent. Lu Ming's monument chi was much more than his. Not only Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and even Kong Jin had more monument chi than him. First Ghost was also one of the 10 Heavenly Kings of the last Heavenly King list, ranked 9th. He wanted to get first place too. First Ghost, hurry up and attack. If this man rises up, it will be bad for your Heavenly Corpse sect. Jiang Taishu shouted. Shameless. In the outside world, many people looked down on him. Jiang Taishu was too shameless. He actually wanted to join forces with Gye to kill Lu Ming, and the reason was that Lu Ming's rise would be detrimental to the Heavenly Corpse sect. Jiang Taishu was a member of the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace, and so was Lu Ming. This caused the anger of many people from the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace to soar to the heavens. The Empyrean Heavenly Divine Palace and the Heavenly Corpse sect were mortal enemies. Dongfang Hao and the others also shook their heads. Jiang Taishu's words would definitely be punished when they got back to the Jiang family. Jiang Taishu also knew that he would be despised and disdained if these words were spread, but he had no choice. What was more important than his life now? Bang! He was struck by Lu Ming's palm again. His arm, which was harder than a spirit weapon, was shattered. First Ghost, attack! Jiang Taishu roared. First Ghost's eyes flashed and he was about to step forward. First Ghost, I advise you not to make a move. Even I'm not sure if I can defeat this person. Suddenly, a figure appeared beside First Ghost and a hoarse voice came out. It was the Corpse King. Even you don't have the confidence to defeat him. First Ghost's eyes were filled with horror. Yes, didn't you see how miserable Jiang Taishu was? If you make a move, you might die here. It's better for us to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. The Corpse King said in a hoarse voice. First Ghost let out a long breath and took a few steps back, but he didn't attack. Ah! Jiang Taishu shouted in despair. Jiang Taishu, no one can save you today. Lu Ming's eyes flickered with cold killing intent. Lu Ming, spare me. I'm the Jiang family's supreme talent. Killing me won't do you any good. Spare me. Jiang Taishu finally began to beg for mercy. It's even worse for me to spare you. Kill. The terrifying devouring power enveloped Jiang Taishu and his palms struck down. Bang! Half of Jiang Taishu's body had exploded, and he was only left with half a breath. His eyes were full of despair and pleading. Lu Ming did not move. He took a step forward and Jiang Taishu was torn into pieces. Jiang Taishu, who was ranked 6th on the previous Heavenly King ranking and was thought to be number 1, was killed by Lu Ming. The devouring power burst out and Jiang Taishu's blood essence was devoured. Currently, devouring the blood essence of a peak-tier king was not of much help to Lu Ming, but it was better than nothing. Retreat, retreat will retreat. At this moment, Wang Ju, Luanzhan, and the others no longer had the will to fight. They retreated frantically and flew toward the exit. Jiang Taishu was dead, and the rest of the Jiang family had escaped. Even if they stayed, they would probably end up in a miserable state. Wang Ju took the lead and broke through Xian Yanqing's Sky Demon force field, flying toward the exit. The other members of the Wang family followed suit. Lu Ming's eyes swept across the room. He took a step forward and turned into a stream of light, rushing toward the Wang family. Boom! Before he had even arrived, a fist radiance was blasted out, blocking one of the Wang family members. This person was Wang Mie. Chapter 750. 750 The Strongest Esper. Lu Ming, what are you doing? Wang Mie shouted, his face pale. What are you doing? Didn't you and Wang Mang join forces to knock me down the abyss when we were challenging the Heavenly King tablet? I'm a person who bears grudges. Lu Ming sneered, his eyes filled with killing intent. The other members of the Wang clan couldn't care less about Wang Mie as they all rushed to the exit. No, that was a moment of folly. Please let me go. Wang Mie's face turned pale and he almost peed his pants. Lu Ming was a devil and a ruthless man. He did not even let Jiang Taishu off. He had no fear of the Jiang family, so why would he be afraid of the Wang family? Therefore, he did not dare to mention the Wang family and could only beg for mercy. It's too late. Lu Ming took a step forward and struck out with his palm. I'll fight you to the death. Seeing that begging for mercy was useless, Wang Mie could only go all out. However, facing Lu Ming, who had unleashed his strongest combat strength, his outcome was already set. With a single palm, it was torn into pieces. The storage ring and blood essence would belong to Lu Ming. Of course, there was also the steel qi. At this moment, the Wan family, Wang Ju, and the others had already rushed into the door and disappeared. This Lu Ming is quite bold. He's not giving the Wang family any face at all. In the outside world, Wang Yan licked his lips as a hint of killing intent flashed in his eyes. Jiang Taichung's expression was also not good. In his opinion, no matter how weak Jiang Taishu was, he was still the Jiang family's chosen warrior. Lu Ming had killed Jiang Taishu in front of everyone, which was an insult to the Jiang family. In the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace, how many people would dare to not give face to the ancient aristocratic families? This made them feel embarrassed. In their position, they didn't care about the life and death of Jiang Taishu and Wang Mie, but it was a great sin to ignore the ancient families and embarrass them. This Lu Ming previously said in public that the Wang family was nothing. He alone is an ancient family. An old man from the Wang family walked up to Wang Yan. One person is an ancient family, and you speak so arrogantly. You're just a mere king tier. No matter how strong your battle power is, what's the use? When faced with a stronger opponent, he would be able to suppress them with a single hand. Wang Yan's eyes flashed with anger. He really doesn't know the immensity of the heavens and earth. Jiang Taichung also spoke. Naturally, Lu Ming did not know that 2 top 100 talents on the list of top 1,000 talents had appeared outside. He also did not know that he had already offended them. However, even if he knew, he would not care. His eyes looked in the direction of the Heavenly Corpse sect. He didn't have a good impression of the Sky Corpse sect. If he had the chance, he wouldn't mind killing a few geniuses of the Sky Corpse sect. Thump. The Corpse King stepped out, shaking the earth and sky. Corpse chi filled his body, flowing like liquid. His eyes were filled with ferocity and a strong fighting spirit. Lu Ming, you're very strong. I'm not sure if I can defeat you in a real battle. However, this is only the Heavenly King ranking. You and I are both in the King's realm. In the face of the Battle of Providence, this is just a small fight. We'll meet in the Battle of Providence. How about it? The Corpse King's hoarse voice sounded. The Battle of Karmic Luck? Good. I hope you won't disappoint me when the time comes. Lu Ming said, his eyes full of fighting spirit. This King Corpse gave him a sense of danger. He was definitely a terrifying opponent that Jiang Taishu couldn't compare with. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Don't die before the Battle of Kismet. There aren't many good opponents. The Corpse King then looked at Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin. His eyes were also filled with battle intent. Then, he strode towards the exit. As the Corpse King stepped in, The others also followed and disappeared into the portal. After a while, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the other two stepped into the portal. The next moment, they appeared outside the Heavenly King monument, at the edge of the abyss. Lu Ming looked. There are names on the Divine King monument. Xian Yanqing said to Lu Ming. Lu Ming looked back. As expected, golden names had appeared on the stele. They were the rankings of the Heavenly King ranking battle. Lu Ming's name was written on the first place. Lu Ming, first place. Without a doubt, Lu Ming had obtained the most qi. He had killed many experts from the Jiang and Wang family and even Jiang Taishu, obtaining all their qi. His steel qi had already far surpassed the others. Second place, Xian Yanqing. This was not surprising. Previously, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing had joined forces to kill many experts from the Jiang and Wang families. Xian Yanqing had also obtained a lot of steel qi. Third place, Corpse King. Fourth place, Kong Jin. Fifth place, Dong Fangyu. Sixth place, Jiuye. Seventh place, Wang Ju. On it, a series of rankings appeared. Jian Filiu also appeared on the ranking, entering the top 108. On the other side of the abyss, there were more than 100,000 people looking in this direction. Their eyes were filled with all sorts of emotions. There was envy, jealousy, hatred, and so on. Let's go! After Lu Ming was born, the four of them flew across the abyss. Above their heads, there was still the Heavenly King Steel's illusionary shadow floating. This kind of Heavenly King Steel's illusionary shadow could help them ascend the dark red steps at the top of the first Heavenly King Steel without being pressured or attacked. When Lu Ming and the rest came over, the crowd took the initiative to make way for them. The combat strength of Lu Ming's group of four had become stronger. With just the four of them, they had actually defeated the joint attack of nearly 80 experts from the Jiang, Wang, and Luan families. It was truly unbelievable. Many people looked at them with respect in their eyes. Although they were all peak-tier kings, Lu Ming and the rest were much stronger than the others. Boom! Boom! At this moment, two vast and incomparable pressures suddenly pressed down on Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Kong Jin, and Jian Filiu's expressions changed drastically. They unleashed their powers to resist the attack. Even so, the four of them trembled and kept retreating. Jian Filiu, in particular, was coughing up blood. Bang! Lu Ming circulated the true war dragon technique in his body. He stomped on the ground and stabilized himself. He looked up. In the sky, two young men stepped through the air. One of them was covered in purple flames like a purple sun, emitting a terrifying temperature. The other one showed off his abilities, like a peerless divine weapon. The Jiang family and the Wang family. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. It was easy to distinguish the aura that the two of them emitted. Could it be that Jiang Taichung and Wang Yan are going to make a move on Lu Ming and the rest? They're the top 100 on the list of top 1,000 talents. Their cultivation has long reached an extremely high level. Lu Ming and the others are only in the king's realm. It's a little unreasonable for them to fight against a king's realm expert with their cultivation, right? It's hard to say. After all, Lu Ming just killed Jiang Taishu and many experts from the two families. Whispers could be heard from the surroundings. Lu Ming, how dare you kill the Jiang family's prodigy? Do you know your crime? Jiang Taichung's eyes shot out two beams of sharp light like two divine swords. Life and death are determined by fate in the Heavenly King Steel. It's meant to kill each other and seize the steel qi. If we can't kill the people from the ancient families, is there still a need to hold the Heavenly King ranking battle in the future? Lu Ming was fearless. His eyes were like lightning as he shouted. Chapter 751. 751 The Dignity of an Ancient Family. Jiang Taichung frowned slightly when he heard Lu Ming's rebuttal. Lu Ming, you're right. The Divine King Monument does not prohibit killing. They died in battle because they were incompetent. However, let me ask you, one person is an ancient family. Have you ever said this? Wang Yan stood in midair, purple flames shimmering as a terrifying temperature emanated from him. The people nearby kept retreating, unable to withstand the terrifying temperature. I did. Lu Ming's answer was simple and clear. Ha, laughable, truly laughable. Wang Yan laughed out loud, his eyes shining as though two small suns had appeared in them. You're really stupid and ignorant. Do you know what an ancient family represents? He actually said that he is comparable to an ancient family. He really doesn't know the immensity of the heavens and earth. That's right. You think that you're so arrogant just because you have some combat strength, but in fact, you're just an ignorant fool. No matter how strong you are, you're just a martial king. A martial king can only do odd jobs in the ancient family. There are countless people in the ancient family who can kill you. Any one of them can suppress you with a single palm strike. Jiang Taichung also sneered. I can't do it now, but that doesn't mean I can't do it in the future. Lu Ming's gaze was firm, persistent, and full of confidence. Future? Let me tell you, in the eyes of the true geniuses of the East Continent, the so-called Heavenly King ranking battle is just a child's play, not worth mentioning. The real competition among the Eastern Continent's geniuses is above the martial king realm. The Battle of Providence in a year's time is the real battlefield of the geniuses, and you don't even have the right to interfere. Wang Yan's voice was filled with faint disdain. Wang Yan, there's no need to waste your breath on them. I'll let them understand right now how insignificant they are in front of the ancient family. They're even less than ants. Jiang Taichung took a step forward, and the aura on his body exploded with a bang. It was extremely terrifying. It was as if countless divine swords had gathered around his body, emitting sharp glints. Each glinted was a divine sword that pressed down on Lu Ming and the rest. At this moment, Lu Ming and the others trembled violently. Their protective true energy was completely useless as it was directly pierced through by the sharp light. It was as if their bodies were going to be pierced through with holes. Strong, he was too strong. Jiang Taichung was definitely not an ordinary spiritual ocean tier warrior. He had already walked a long way in the spiritual ocean tier. No matter how strong Lu Ming and the rest were, they were only at the martial king realm. The difference was too great, so great that they could not resist. No matter how strong a martial king is, he's still an ant in front of absolute strength. Jiang Taichung looked down at the crowd, his voice cold and aloof. I will definitely kill you in the battle of karmic luck. Lu Ming let out a long howl. Four-colored concepts surrounded him as he tried his best to resist. Killing me in the battle of providence? What a joke! Jiang Taichung sneered, and the aura on his body grew stronger. Buzz! At that moment, the Heavenly King Tablet's shadow above Lu Ming's head suddenly shook and emitted a bright light. At the same time, Xian Yanqing, Kong Jin, and Jian Filia's Heavenly King steel shadows also trembled and shone brightly. The four people's lights gathered together. At this moment, behind the four of them, opposite the abyss, the Heavenly King steel was also glowing. A huge shadow of the Heavenly King steel suddenly appeared above the four of them. Boom! The Heavenly King steel's shadow shook and dispersed Jiang Taichung's aura. Jiang Taishu took a few steps back and looked at the huge Heavenly King steel's shadow with an ugly expression. Their pressure had caused the Heavenly King tablet to move. A terrifying aura erupted from Wang Yan's body and pressed forward. However, he immediately followed in Jiang Taichung's footsteps and was forced to retreat. The Divine Monument's protection. Jiang Taichung snorted coldly. You're lucky this time, Lu Ming. If you're really confident, go to the Sky Martial region or Nine Dragons. By then, you'll understand the true strength of the ancient families. You'll also understand what a true heaven's favorite is and how insignificant you are. Wang Yan swept a glance at Lu Ming and the rest as he spoke indifferently. With that, he turned around, took a step forward, and disappeared. Jiang Taichung also turned around and left. This time, they did not really intend to make a move on Lu Ming and the rest. Just as the crowd had guessed, with their cultivation, They could suppress Lu Ming and the rest with one hand. The difference was too great. If they made a move, they would instead end up with a reputation of bullying the weak. They only wanted to intimidate Lu Ming and the rest, to let them and everyone else understand the dignity and power of the ancient families. At the same time, it also proved their own strength. No matter how strong a martial king was, he was still a martial king. They were all under 30 years old, but they had already gone far beyond the level of a martial king. Now that they had achieved their goal, they naturally left. Oof, is the top 100 on the list of top 1,000 talents that great? I'll surpass them one by one sooner or later. Kong Jin snorted coldly in dissatisfaction. He took out a lamb leg and started gnawing on it. He wondered how many roast lamb legs this guy had in reserve. Lu Ming did not say a word, but his eyes revealed a strong fighting spirit. Before he had the ability, it was useless to say anything. However, as Kong Jin had said, he would surpass them one day. Lu Ming believed that that day would not be too far away. One person was comparable to an ancient family. This was only Lu Ming's initial goal, and he had to achieve it. If he could not even do this, how could he compete with the #1 martial emperor? Let's go. We'll cultivate on the Heavenly King's tablet steps. Lu Ming said and strode forward. The four of them walked towards the first Heavenly King tablet. When he arrived at the bottom of the Heavenly King tablet, he realized that there were already some people on it. The Corpse King was sitting cross-legged on the 26th step. Wang Ju, First Ghost, and a few others were sitting cross-legged on the 25th step. There were a total of 27 steps on the Heavenly King stele. The 21st to 27th steps were dark red and were the rewards for the top 108 on the Heavenly King list. Only they could go up. Only the first place could go up to the highest 27th step. The 26th step could be reached by the 2nd to 4th place. On the 25th step, the 5th to 10th place would be able to go up. On the 24th step, the 11th to 20th place can go up. The last 38 would be able to reach the 21st step. The 108 spots were distributed on the 7 steps. Lu Ming rose into the air and flew to the top of the stairs. Above his head, the Heavenly King steel's illusionary shadow scattered down rays of light that enveloped Lu Ming. Without the protection of the Heavenly King steel, only death awaited them if they ascended the dark red steps. Bang! Lu Ming landed on the highest step. In an instant, he felt an extremely strong sense of all kinds of concepts. He even felt that there were experts fighting and cultivating. There was an imprint left behind by a supreme expert on the Heavenly King stele. No one knew when the Heavenly King stele was left behind. It had been standing there for countless years. Throughout history, many martial royal realm experts had wanted to move it away and take it for themselves years, but none of them had been able to do so. That was why he had stayed here. Lu Ming immediately sat cross-legged, captured various concepts, and began to comprehend them. The various traces of intent here were much stronger than the stairs below. Lu Ming was the first to capture a wisp of the concept of fire. In an instant, the world changed. He saw a tall figure practicing the concept of fire. His every movement was extremely mysterious. Chapter 752. 752 Super Spirit C. Xian Yanqing, Kong Jin, and the others also flew up the stairs and began to cultivate. Not long after, the top 108 had all arrived. They all sat cross-legged on the top 7 steps. They had half a month's time to cultivate. After half a month, the Heavenly King monument would return to its ordinary state and lose its mysterious effects. It would only open again after 3 years. Time passed by quickly. 3 days later, Lu Ming's fire concept broke through in one go and reached beginner level 2. Then, he turned to comprehend the essence of the earth. It was much more difficult to cultivate the essence of the earth. Lu Ming spent 10 days before he managed to break through to level 2. Since then, Lu Ming's 4 concepts of heaven and earth had all broken through to level 2. He had met the requirements to enter the Spirit Sea realm. Lu Ming could enter the Spirit Sea realm at any time. At this time, 13 days had passed, and there were only 2 days left. Lu Ming planned to continue comprehending the Earth mentality in the next 2 days. The Earth mentality was the most difficult to cultivate, so Lu Ming had to seize this opportunity. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. His Earth mentality had also made some progress and had reached the middle stage of the second level. Half a month's time was almost up. Buzz! At this moment, a message rushed into Lu Ming's mind. Lu Ming was stunned. He thought about it carefully and was overjoyed. The information that rushed into Lu Ming's mind was actually a secret skill. The secret skill was called Super Spirit Sea. That's right, the name was Super Spirit Sea. According to the information inside, if a Sea of Soul realm martial artist cultivated this secret technique, the area of their Sea of Soul would be twice as large as others. The spiritual ocean of the spiritual ocean realm was twice as large as others, which meant that the storage of true essence was twice as strong as others, and thus, the battle power was naturally stronger. He had heard before that the first place on the Heavenly King ranking would have special rewards that could be obtained from the Heavenly King monument. Some were martial arts techniques, some were cultivation methods, and some were secret skills. Lu Ming had obtained a secret skill. This was also the reason why Jiang Taishu and the others were so determined to fight for the first place. With a secret technique like the Super Spirit Sea, he would have an advantage among the elites of the Spirit Sea realm. How good! My genuine Yuan is already much stronger than ordinary people. With the Super Spirit Sea secret skill, my advantage will be even stronger. Lu Ming laughed heartily in his heart. Although the 6 great ancient clans also cultivated God-grade cultivation techniques, each God-grade cultivation technique specialized in a different direction. For example, after cultivating the Wang family's sky-burning flame technique, one's true energy would be like heavenly fire, capable of burning everything. However, the density of the true energy was definitely not as high as the true War Dragon technique. The true War Dragon technique leaned towards rich true essence. The combination of the Super Spirit Sea and the true War Dragon technique was a perfect match. All of a sudden, Lu Ming felt that the Heavenly King Steel's illusionary shadow above his head had disappeared. He could no longer feel any pressure or artistic conception. The time was up and the Heavenly King Steel had returned to its ordinary state. At this moment, everyone on the stairs opened their eyes. Let's go! Wang Ju and the rest took a glance at Lu Ming and the others before they hurriedly flew away, as if afraid that Lu Ming would attack them. The Corpse King and the rest of the Heavenly Corpse sect also stood up and left. Lu Ming, how's the harvest? Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded and asked, have you made a breakthrough in your concepts? I've broken through. Next, I'll be breaking through to the spiritual ocean tier. Xian Yanqing said. Haha, I'm also going to break through to the spiritual ocean tier. Kong Jin grinned. I'm also planning to break through to the spirit ocean realm. Jian Filiu also said. This time, many people had made great progress. After the battle of the Heavenly King list, many people would probably choose to break through to the Sea of Soul realm, such as Wang Ju and the Corpse King. After all, the War of Providence was getting closer and closer. There was only a year and 3 months left. The battle of karmic luck was the key. Alright, let's find a place to break through then. Lu Ming smiled. Right now, he had almost accumulated enough supreme-grade spirit crystals. He had to break through to the spiritual ocean tier. Only by breaking through to the spiritual ocean tier would he be able to compete with those top talents on the list of top 1,000 talents. The 4 of them rose into the air and flew away. The 4 of them did not fly toward the city, but toward the wilderness. I say, brother-in-law, what good stuff did you get on the top step? Kong Jin's eyes sneaked a glance at Lu Ming. Fatty, you're not allowed to call him brother-in-law, and you're also not allowed to call me little sister. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth and looked at Kong Jin with a dark expression. Kong Jin shivered and said, There's no need to do this. If I call you that, isn't it just to make you feel closer? If I don't call you that, what else can I do? Whatever you want, call me by my name. Xian Yanqing said through gritted teeth. All right. Fatty Kong Jin pulled a long face. He then looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, you haven't told me what good stuff you got. It's indeed a good thing. Lu Ming smiled and did not hide anything. He said, it's a secret technique that can double the area of the spirit ocean after cultivating it in the spirit ocean realm. What? Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu were both shocked. How Lu Ming looked. You and I are family, can you share it with us? Kong Jin looked at Lu Ming sneakily and said, Sure, use crystals to buy it. Lu Ming said, Crystals? I don't have many crystals. How about this, I'll give you the raw stone. Kong Jin pondered for a moment. A bag appeared in his hand and he threw it to Lu Ming. There are 100 raw gemstones inside. Do you think that's enough? Raw gemstones? You have that many raw gemstones? Other than Xian Yanqing, Lu Ming and Jian Filiu widened their eyes in shock. Ori rocks were similar to spiritual crystals in that they contained massive amounts of energy. However, the energy in the raw gemstones was not the spiritual chi of heaven and earth in the spiritual crystal, but the original chi of heaven and earth. The original chi was purer and more advanced than spiritual chi. The amount of energy consumed by a warrior at the spiritual ocean tier and above was too terrifying. If they used supreme-grade spirit crystals, it would be tens of millions or even hundreds of millions. The higher the tier, the more terrifying it would be. However, it would be different if he used raw gemstones. Raw gemstones were extremely advanced and could be quickly converted into vital essence. A low-grade raw gemstones were worth millions of supreme spiritual crystals. The fatty gave Lu Ming 100 low-grade raw stones, which were worth hundreds of millions of supreme spiritual crystals. One had to know that normal spiritual ocean tier warriors didn't have any raw gemstones. Usually, only martial artists at the higher stages of the spiritual ocean tier and above had raw gemstones, and would use them to cultivate. All right, that's enough. Lu Ming kept the rough stone and took out 3 jade cards. He engraved the information of the Super Spirit Sea into the jade cards and then threw one to Kong Jin. This time, the few of them had experienced a life-and-death battle. Lu Ming had already regarded Kong Jin as a friend. Although the Super Spirit Sea secret skill was precious, he would not be stingy with it. Then he gave the other 2 jade tokens to Xian Yanqing and Jian Filiu. Chapter 753. 753 Breaking Through to the Spirit Ocean Tier. I don't have any raw gemstones. Jian Filiu caught the jade plate and was a little dazed. Brother Jian, there's no need for raw gemstones. You can use them for your cultivation. Lu Ming smiled. No, this is too precious. Although Jian Filiu desired it, he still refused. Brother Jian, you're being so polite. Do you not treat me as a friend? Lu Ming said. How could this be? It is my honor to be friends with Brother Lu. Jian Filiu said. Then that's it. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming, thank you. Jian Filiu clenched the jade plate tightly and looked touched. Even if they were friends, how many of them could share such a precious secret technique with him? As for Xian Yanqing, he didn't say a word and kept the jade card. Hey, why am I the only one who wants to buy raw stones? They don't want them. This is unfair. Kong Jin shouted. Because you're so rich. Lu Ming said with a smile. How am I rich? It's not fair. Kong Jin continued to shout. Before long, they had flown hundreds of thousands of miles and arrived at a remote, barren mountain. The 4 of them descended. Lu Ming waved his hands and inscribed a large inscription formation on the ground. It was no small matter to break through to the spirit ocean realm, and he could not be disturbed. Lu Ming had set up an inscription formation in this area. If there was anything abnormal, he would be able to sense it. After setting up the formation, Everyone each chose a place to cultivate in seclusion. Lu Ming, the cultivation technique that you're cultivating requires a significant amount of energy to break through to the spirit ocean realm. You can use these raw gemstones. Xian Yanqing walked to Lu Ming and threw him a bag. Then, he turned and disappeared into a mountain. 200 raw gemstones. Lu Ming opened it and found 200 low-grade raw stones inside. Lu Ming smiled and put away the rough stone. In a flash, he rushed into a mountain and appeared in the supreme shrine. Dandan was lying in a corner, gnawing on spirit herbs, very leisurely. "Brat, you're ready to break through to the spiritual ocean tier?" Dandan glanced at Lu Ming and said, "Not bad." Lu Ming nodded. "Your true essence is extremely rich, and the danger of breaking through to the spirit ocean realm has increased greatly. Fortunately, you've cultivated 4 intents, so you should be fine. Let me help you guard." Dandan walked over. Lu Ming nodded and sat down cross-legged. With a wave of his hand, piles of top-grade spiritual crystals appeared in the surroundings. During this period of time, Lu Ming had killed many enemies and gathered all their spiritual crystals. There were more than 500 million pieces. Lu Ming estimated that 500 million yuan should be enough. Bang! Bang! With a shake of his vital essence, large piles of spiritual crystals exploded and were devoured by the 9-dragon bloodline. Then, he began to refine them crazily. Lu Ming circulated the true war dragon technique and continuously transformed the energy into essential core. Boom! 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 The vortex spun wildly and a large amount of essential core gathered in the vortex. Lu Ming began to compress the vortex. As time passed, Lu Ming's chi cyclone became smaller and smaller. However, his essential core also became more and more condensed, reaching a terrifying level. To open up the spirit ocean, the first step was to compress the cyclone to the extreme, then it would explode. Yes, it was an explosion. At the moment of the explosion, a terrifying energy would be produced. In the Dantian, a spirit sea would be opened. The spirit ocean was an ocean of zhenyuan. The amount of zhenyuan it could contain was much higher than the qi current. There was a limit to how much true essence a chi cyclone could hold. Without opening a spirit ocean, one would never be able to break through. However, this process was extremely dangerous. If the cyclone exploded, a single mistake could cause the Dantian to explode. It could even cause the entire body to explode and be crushed into pieces. Therefore, he needed to protect his body with intent. Using intent to block the energy of the explosion, the energy of the explosion would gather in a certain area and open up the spirit sea. On the other hand, Lu Ming's essential core was too strong and condensed. Naturally, the power of the explosion would be stronger. If he only used one intent to protect himself, he would not be able to withstand it and it would be very dangerous. Fortunately, Lu Ming had 4 concepts. Compress, continue compressing. Half a day later, the vortex concept was compressed to the extreme, forming a point. Astonishing energy spread out from within. Success or failure depends on this one move. Explode! Lu Ming's eyes were filled with determination. With a single thought, the cyclone that had been compressed to the extreme exploded with a loud bang. Boom! Boom! It was as if the world had just been split open. A shocking amount of energy erupted and destroyed everything. Block it! The 4 intents of heaven and earth gathered together and formed layers of defense in his Dantian. Boom! 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 The violent energy wreaked havoc. Lu Ming's Dantian was torn apart, forming a crack. This crack was growing rapidly. Slowly, the crack turned into a pool of water, and the pool became larger and larger. The spirit sea was opening up. This process only happened in an instant. The next moment, the violent energy calmed down and a pool with a diameter of about 10 meters was formed. This pool was the spirit sea. At the beginning of a breakthrough, the area would not be very large, but as one's cultivation level increased, it would become larger and larger. When an ordinary person broke through to the spirit ocean, their spirit ocean would not be as large as Lu Ming's. Lu Ming had cultivated the true war dragon technique, and he had opened up such a large area of spirit ocean at the beginning. Lu Ming had successfully opened up the spirit sea and was not in any danger. This was normal. After all, Lu Ming had comprehended 4 types of concepts and had successfully fused them. No matter how strong his essential core was, the defense of 4 types of concepts was enough. The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. He had finally made a breakthrough to the spirit sea realm. However, there was only a thin layer of Zhenyuan at the bottom of the spirit ocean. Only when the Zhenyuan in the spirit ocean was filled could one be considered to have truly entered the spirit ocean realm. Explode, explode. Lu Ming continued to blow up the spirit crystals, devouring and refining the spiritual energy to turn it into essential core. As the spirit crystals continued to be refined, the true essence in his spirit ocean increased and slowly filled up. 3 days later, everyone's spiritual crystals had been used up, but their spiritual oceans were not full. The amount of energy I've consumed in my cultivation is still as terrifying as ever. Lu Ming laughed bitterly. More than 500 million supreme spiritual crystals were not enough. Lu Ming then took out a bag and took out 2 raw gemstones. He crushed them and the raw gemstones emitted their qi. The bloodline of the 9 dragons opened its mouth and swallowed the origin qi. Origin energy was much more advanced than spirit energy. The true origin energy in his spirit ocean quickly filled up. In the end, Lu Ming refined another 50 raw gemstones before his spirit ocean was completely filled. What a rich Zhenyuan! What a rich Zhenyuan! Lu Ming Yuan switched to the true war dragon technique. He felt extremely rich vital essence and was in a good mood. The true yuan of a spiritual ocean realm was much stronger than a king's realm. Right now, his battle power had also increased by an unknown amount. With a thought, he left the supreme shrine and sensed around. Xian Yanqing and the others should still be breaking through. Lu Ming had the 9 dragons bloodline, so he was faster. I'll wait for them while I cultivate. I'll cultivate my super spirit sea first. Lu Ming re-entered the supreme shrine and started cultivating. Chapter 754. 754 The Vast 9 Dragons. A day later, the secret skill Super Spirit Sea was successfully cultivated by Lu Ming. His spirit sea had doubled in size and could accommodate more essential core. Of course, when Lu Ming refilled his spirit sea, he had used another 200 raw gemstones. This time, if it wasn't for Kong Jin's 100 raw gemstones and Xian Yanqing's 200 raw gemstones, he wouldn't have had enough spiritual crystals. Boom! Boom! On the platform on the highest level of the Supreme Shrine, Lu Ming was cultivating the prison-suppressing heaven technique. His hands, feet, even his shoulders and waist seemed to contain a prison-suppressing steel. His every move suppressed everything and had unimaginable power. Lu Ming only stopped after more than 100 moves. After reaching the spiritual ocean tier, I can finally use the prison-suppressing heavenly art as I wish. Lu Ming revealed a smile on his face. The prison-suppressing heaven technique was a demigod-level bloodline martial technique. The amount of vital essence it consumed was too terrifying. When he was a peak-tier king, Lu Ming did not dare to use it casually and had to control it. After breaking through to the Spirit Sea realm, he no longer had this concern. In the Spirit Sea, his vital essence was extremely abundant and it was completely sufficient. In addition, all 4 intents had reached level 2. Lu Ming did not know what level his combat strength had reached. Following that, Lu Ming comprehended 4 concepts every day and cultivated martial arts techniques. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Lu Ming estimated that Xian Yanqing and the rest should be almost done with their cultivation, so he left the Supreme Shrine. What? Lu Ming felt that something was amiss the moment he stepped out of the Supreme Shrine. He had only sensed 2 auras, but there were originally 3. Buzz. Buzz. As if sensing Lu Ming's aura, Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin appeared in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming, Jian Fili seems to have left. Xian Yanqing said. Brother Jian has left? Lu Ming was stunned. He had inscribed an inscription formation. If someone barged in from the outside, he would be able to sense it. However, if one went out from the inside, he would not be able to sense it. He sent me this information. Xian Yanqing passed a jade voice transmission talisman to Lu Ming. There was only one sentence in it. Miss Xie, Brother Lu, I have something to do. I'll leave first. Don't miss me. Lu Ming guessed that he had not received any news from Jian Fili because he was in the Supreme Shrine and Jian Fili could not send any messages. Brother Jian, what happened for you to leave in such a hurry? Why did you leave without saying goodbye? Lu Ming frowned. With his understanding of Jian Fili, he wouldn't have left without saying goodbye. Something must have happened. I'm guessing it's because of his junior sister. Xian Yanqing said. It's possible. Did Brother Jian go to 9 Dragons? Lu Ming furrowed his brows. This was the only possibility. Let's go back to the city and see if we can get some information. Lu Ming said. Then, the three of them rose into the air and flew toward the city near the Heavenly King Monument. Soon they arrived at a city. Now, most of the peak-tier kings from all over the world had left. The area around the Heavenly King Monument had returned to its previous desolation. There were not many people on the streets. The three of them found a restaurant to see if they could get any information. Kong Jin ordered 50 roasted lamb legs from the restaurant. According to him, they were to be stored. I heard that all the geniuses and sovereigns have gone to 9 Dragons in the Sky Martial region. That's normal. There's still more than a year before the Battle of Providence. Every time it happens, the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace will place great importance on it. I heard that all the cultivation sanctuaries in 9 Dragons have been opened up. All the cultivation sanctuaries that were closed in the past are now open to the geniuses. Naturally, those geniuses will flock there. Not only the Emperor Sky Divine Palace, but also the Sky Demon Valley, the Heavenly Corpse Sect, and so on. Every time the Battle of Providence is near, all kinds of holy lands will be opened to increase the strength of the geniuses as soon as possible. After all, the Battle of Providence will affect the luck of a force for the next 20 years. It's no small matter. Even the Martial Emperor places great importance on it. That's right. Those sovereigns will naturally become stronger and stronger if they cultivate in such a holy land. All the sovereigns who are interested in the Battle of Providence will not miss it and will go. Otherwise, they will only be surpassed by others. Right now, 9 Dragons is the gathering place of the wind and clouds. In the restaurant, some people were discussing the recent news. Looming there, right? Before every Battle of Providence, the major forces will do everything they can to cultivate their geniuses and open up various holy lands. This is also an opportunity for us to improve our abilities quickly and compete with those top-ranked geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. Xian Yanqing said. Let's go to 9 Dragons. I have a friend there. Kong Jin said as he gnawed on the leg of lamb. Lu Ming was thinking rapidly in his heart. The 9 Dragons city in the Sky Martial region was where the main palace of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace was located. Martial Emperor Dai was there. He was heading to 9 Dragons, which was very close to Martial Emperor Dai. He was afraid that Martial Emperor Dai would sense his 9 Dragon bloodline. Senior Jianghu has already been sealed. He said that he wouldn't be detected for 10 years, so he should be fine. At that time, I'll try not to use the bloodline of the 9 Dragons, so there shouldn't be a problem. If I'm always timid and don't grasp opportunities, how can I quickly improve my cultivation? At this thought, Lu Ming decided to go. All right, we'll set off in a moment. Lu Ming said. After a while, the three of them finished eating and flew toward the west. They were going to the nearby region to take the inter-province transportation formation. In the Sky Martial region, 9 Dragons was known as the largest city in the Eastern Barren Territory. 9 dragons. It was called 9 dragons because it was made up of 9 huge dragon veins. Each dragon vein was actually a mountain range. It was vast and stretched for tens of millions of miles, winding around the vast land. Among them, there were 6 dragon veins that were in different directions. At the center of these 6 dragon veins were the other 3 dragon veins. The 3 dragon veins converged together, forming the core of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. Around the 9 dragon veins were city walls. However, this city wall was not an ordinary city wall. It was made up of countless mountain peaks, which were more than 10,000 meters high. They gathered together and formed a circle, surrounding the 9 dragon veins in the middle, forming the 9 dragon city. 9 Long City was unbelievably huge. It was almost as big as the Tianxian region. That's right, a city was equivalent to a large region. This was simply unbelievable. From this, one could see how magnificent the city wall surrounding 9 Dragon City was. It was made up of many mountains, which was simply incredible. Obviously, it was not the creation of heaven and earth. It was said that it was built by the Supreme Master in the ancient times. Pulling out countless mountains from the ground and surrounding the 9 dragon veins, what a vast project it was. Lu Ming stood outside the city walls of 9 dragons, dumbstruck at the sight. He found it hard to believe that such a shocking building existed in this world. Was this even possible with human strength? Even a martial emperor can't do it, right? He believed that a force emperor could pull out a 10,000 high mountain from the ground, but how many were there? Chapter 755. 755 Chapter 755 City within a city. As he looked over, what he saw were mountains that were 10,000 meters high. All the mountains were side by side, and he couldn't see the end. There was a huge city gate under a few of the mountains. It was one of the city gates to 9 dragons. Xian Yanqing and Kong Jin were calm. I'm back. Come, let's go in. Kong Jin carried his hatchet on his shoulder and held a lamb leg in one hand. He gnawed on it as he walked forward. I say, fatty, why are you carrying your axe all day? Aren't you tired? Don't you have a storage ring? Lu Ming asked as they walked. Ever since he saw Kong Jin, he had been seen carrying his huge battle axe every day. I'm carrying this battle axe to lose weight. Kong Jin answered. Kong Jin's answer made Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing stagger and almost fall. To lose weight? Then why don't you stop eating? Xian Yanqing said in disdain. How can you carry the battle axe if you don't eat? How can you lose weight if you can't carry the battle axe? You guys don't know, but it's very tiring to carry a battle axe every day. Kong Jin said with a serious expression. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were speechless. They were completely defeated. The city gate of 9 dragons was huge, at least hundreds of meters high and hundreds of meters wide. At the city gate, people came and went, and it was very lively. All kinds of warriors riding on demonic beasts and fierce beasts could be seen rushing past and into 9 dragons. There was no one guarding the city gate, and no one was checking, so anyone could enter and leave at will. This was confidence. As the main palace of the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace, 9 Long City gathered the most powerful forces of the Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace. In the entire Empyrean Heaven Divine Palace, more than 80% of the experts above the Spirit Embryo Realm were in 9 Long City. The Spirit Embryo Realm, the Spiritual God Realm, and even the Supreme. In addition, Martial Emperor D was also there. No matter if it was the Heavenly Corpse sect or the Heavenly Demon Valley, if they dared to break into 9 dragons and cause trouble, they would be courting death, unless they were imperial powerhouses. However, if an imperial path expert really came, it would be useless no matter how many experts there were at the city gate. The 3 of them walked through the city gate, and what entered their eyes was a huge and wide road that led in all directions. There was also an endless mountain range. The inside of 9 dragons was an entire world. After all, its area was comparable to the Tianxian region. The spiritual qi of heaven and earth is so dense. Also, The essence realm of heaven and earth is much clearer than other places. Lu Ming was shocked. Lu Ming, this is only the edge. 9 dragon veins converge in 9 dragon city. The closer you are to the dragon vein, the richer the spiritual chi of heaven and earth will be, and the clearer the conception of heaven and earth will be. Therefore, in 9 dragon city, martial kings and martial artists are everywhere, and even Sea of Souls realm experts are a dime a dozen. Only those who are above the spirit embryo realm can be considered as experts. Kongjin said. Lu Ming sighed, mainly because the conditions were too good. 9 Dragon City is dominated by the dragon veins. Right now, in 6 directions, the core of the 6 dragon veins are occupied by the 6 great ancient clans. With the dragon veins as the core, countless clans and sects of all sizes are scattered all over the city. On the larger scale, these powers all belong to the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. On the smaller scale, they compete with each other, developing and fighting each other. Every day, there are powers being destroyed, and new powers rising up. Even the 6 great ancient clans are competing with each other. Only by doing so can more powerhouses be born. Kong Jin explained. He had stayed in 9 Dragons before, so he knew the place quite well. We're currently in the easternmost region of the Dragon Vein. The strongest force here is one of the 6 ancient families, the Wang family. The Wang family occupies the core of the Dragon Vein, and there are countless forces of various sizes scattered around the Dragon Vein. Kong Jin continued. Lu Ming nodded. The 3 of them chose a direction and chatted as they flew. A few hours later, a city appeared in front of them. The 3 of them flew in. This city was called Grand Gathering City. According to Kong Jin's introduction, there were more than a dozen forces of various sizes scattered around the city. And this place had not officially entered the Dragon Vein in the east. It was only in the outer area. The closer it was to the Dragon Vein, the richer the spiritual chi of heaven and earth was. Only the powerful forces could occupy it. Small forces could only be in the periphery. The 3 of them strolled around the city. The city was not particularly large, but there were many experts on the streets. Lu Ming swept his gaze across the area. All of them were martial kings. Fortunately, there were not many at the spiritual ocean tier. He saw a few, but they were not very strong. After all, this was only the periphery of the Dragon Vein. Ting Ting, it's me, the young master. Suddenly, Kong Jin smiled brightly and greeted a woman. The woman was about 23 or 24 years old. She was wearing a light yellow dress and had a slim figure. She was very beautiful. The woman was walking over. When she heard the voice, she looked over. Then, she glared at Kong Jin and walked over. Damn fatty, are you a friend or not? You actually left without saying goodbye last time. Did he lie to a little girl again? The beautiful woman's beautiful eyes sized up Kong Jin as she unhappily said. Ting Ting, why would I? With a beauty like you in front of me, how can other beauties enter my eyes? The last time I left, I had something to do. See, I came back as soon as I finished. One day apart really feels like 3 years. Look, I've lost weight. As he said that, Kong Jin patted his stomach. Instantly, his fat started to shake like waves. It was a spectacular sight. Don't try to flatter me. Your tricks are useless against me. The girl's lips curled up and she looked at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Ting Ting, come, let me introduce you. This is Ruan Ting Ting, my confidant. Kong Jin laughed. Go away, damn fatty, don't talk nonsense, I haven't known you for long. Ruan Ting Ting interrupted Kong Jin. She looked at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing and said, the 2 of you look very dignified. Are you friends of this fatty? I advise the 2 of you, this damn fatty is ignorant and incompetent, lazy and good at eating. The 2 of you shouldn't make bad friends by mistake and be led astray by this damn fatty. Hey, Ting Ting, how can you say that about me? We're friends, aren't we? Kong Jin said unhappily. Who asked you to be so unreliable and leave without saying goodbye? Next time, Don't say that I don't recognize you as a friend. Ruan Tingting coldly snorted. Lu Ming found Kong Jin and Ruan Tingting's bickering rather interesting and did not interrupt. Of course, with such a beautiful friend like you, how could I leave without saying goodbye? These two are friends I met outside. Their names are Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. Have you heard of them? Kong Jin introduced Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. I've never heard of it. Ruan Tingting shook her head. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that the secret Chamber of Commerce had not updated the list of top 1,000 talents yet. In addition, the Battle of Providence was approaching. Most people's attention was on the top of the list of top 1,000 talents. Not many people paid attention to the Battle of the Heavenly King list. However, this was also good. It was not a good thing to have too many people paying attention to it. Chapter 756. 756 Wind Sword Sect. Lady Ruan. Lu Ming nodded at Ruan Tingting and greeted her. Tingting, I've just arrived with 2 friends and don't have a place to stay. Do you think we can stay at your Wind Sword Sect for a while? Kong Jin looked at Ruan Tingting with wide eyes. Isn't there an inn? Ruan Tingting said. There is an inn, but it's not convenient for cultivation. It's not as comfortable as your place. My 2 friends are geniuses. Isn't it better for us to discuss martial arts? Kong Jin looked at Ruan Tingting with anticipation. Lu Ming felt contempt in his heart. This fatty must be trying to take the opportunity to get close to Ruan Tingting. He wanted to be in a favorable position and enjoy the moonlight first. I say, fatty little Qing's sister. Lu Ming deliberately spoke and prolonged his voice. What's Xiao Qing's sister? I don't know her. Tingting, what do you think of my suggestion just now? Kong Jin instantly changed the topic. Ruan Tingting pondered for a moment and said, all right then. My courtyard is quite big. It's fine if I add the 3 of you. But fatty, you're not allowed to cause trouble. Kong Jin was overjoyed. He immediately swore to the heavens that he would not. Lu Ming shook his head. This fatty was really a weirdo. However, having a place to stay was better than staying in an inn. Lu Ming naturally would not reject it. Immediately, Lu Ming and the other 2 followed Ruan Tingting out of the Grand Gathering City and flew towards the west. 10,000 miles away, there was a mountain range. The spirit chi here was even denser than in Grand Gathering City. On top of the mountain range, there were many palaces and courtyards. This was the sect that Ruan Tingting was in, the Wind Sword Sect. The Wind Sword Sect was just a small force in 9 dragons. There were no more than 10 spiritual ocean tier martial artists in the sect, and the highest cultivation was only at the 3rd level of the spiritual ocean tier. Such a force would be unrivaled in the Tianxian region, but in 9 dragons, it was a small force. However, according to Ruan Tingting's introduction, the Wind Sword Sect was considered to be one of the top forces in the dozen or so surrounding Grand Gathering City. With Ruan Tingting leading the way, the Wind Sword Sect disciples did not stop them. They entered the Wind Sword Sect and arrived at the courtyard where Ruan Tingting was staying. There were 5 rooms in Ruan Tingting's courtyard, so it was quite convenient for a few people to live in. Fatty, Brother Lu, Miss Xie, you guys can stay here from now on. However, don't wander around the Wind Sword Sect. There are some forbidden areas that I don't even dare to enter. If I'm caught, I'll be punished. Ruan Tingting said. Don't worry, Lady Ruan, we know that. Lu Ming smiled. After that, Lu Ming and the other 2 stayed there. 9 Dragons was too big and had countless forces. He wanted to get familiar with it first. In the next 2 days, Lu Ming had a rough understanding of the forces in this area. In the middle of 9 dragons, 3 dragon veins converged. This was where Martial Emperor Di and the higher-ups of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace lived. There were 6 dragon veins in the surroundings, with the 6 ancient families as the main force and countless forces scattered around. Those cultivation holy lands were basically above the 9 dragon veins. It wasn't easy to cultivate in those holy lands. One had to be recommended by the local palaces or by the forces in 9 dragons. It seemed that it would not be easy to enter those holy lands to cultivate. On the third day, a clamor came from outside and Lu Ming walked out of the room. At the entrance of the courtyard, a young man was swaggering in. "Sullo, this is my courtyard. What do you mean by barging in? Get out immediately." Ruan Tingting stood in front of the young man and said loudly, "Your courtyard? Don't forget that this is the Wind Sword sect. Do you know your crime for bringing an outsider in?" Su Luo's face was cold as he swept his gaze across Lu Ming and the rest. "They're my friends. It's reasonable for me to let them stay in my courtyard for a few days. What's wrong with that? Sullo, you're the one who's guilty for barging into my courtyard without my permission. Now get out." Ruan Tingting said. A slut is a slut." She actually brought a few men to live together. Sullo said coldly. "Nest, where did this wild dog come from? You're barking here. Be careful, I'll tear your mouth apart." Kong Jin carried his battle axe and walked over, staring at Sullo with an unfriendly look. "Fat pig, what did you say? You're looking for death." Sullo's eyes were cold, and his powerful aura rose up, enveloping Kong Jin. The aura of a peak-tier king. Boom! A powerful aura also rose from Ruan Tingting's body. She was also a peak-tier king. She took a step forward and stood in front of Kong Jin, blocking Su Luo's aura. In a place like Nine Dragons, it wasn't difficult to become a peak-tier king. As long as one's talent wasn't bad, and with the support of a huge amount of resources, it wouldn't be a problem to become a peak-tier king. Of course, most of them were ordinary peak-tier kings. They couldn't make the list of top 1,000 talents because they didn't have enough battle strength or potential. "Ruan Tingting, you want to fight me for a few outsiders?" Sullo's face was extremely gloomy. "Get out," Ruan Tingting said coldly. All right, damn fat pig. And you guys better be careful." Su Luo glanced at Kong Jin and then at Lu Ming and Lu Li. He snorted coldly and turned to leave. He seemed to be quite afraid of Ruan Tingting. "Tingting, why are you blocking me? Let me tear that guy's stinky mouth apart." Kong Jin looked at the door with an unfriendly gaze. "Fatty, don't brag. You're so ignorant and incompetent all day long, and you still think you can beat Sullo? He's a peak-tier king. Be careful, or you'll be beaten into a dead fat pig. Also, Lu Ming, Miss Xie, if I'm not around in the future, don't wander around the Wind Sword sect. Sullo is a narrow-minded person. If they see you, I'm afraid they'll deal with you." Ruan Tingting warned. Looking at Ruan Tingting's serious expression, Lu Ming was really speechless. Were they so weak in her eyes that they couldn't even deal with Sullo? It must be that Kong Jin's impression in Ruan Tingting's heart was too bad. "Tingting, why is that guy targeting you?" Kong Jin asked. "He wanted to pursue me in the past, but I rejected him. That's why he's been targeting me ever since." Ruan Tingting said. He's like a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. Tingting, your ideal husband is a handsome and extraordinary hero like me." Kong Jin patted his chest with a triumphant look. "Shameless." Ruan Tingting glared at Kong Jin and then said to Lu Ming and the rest, "I have something to do and need to go out for a while. You guys must not wander around the Wind Sword sect." Ruan Tingting jogged out of the room after giving him some more instructions. "I say, fatty, you've never revealed your cultivation in front of Miss Tingting before?" Lu Ming asked curiously. "No, I originally wanted to use my handsome and unruly appearance to conquer her. What do you think? Do you guys think I have a chance?" Kong Jin's small eyes were wide open as he looked at Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing with a hopeful look. "You're shameless." Xian Yanqing left these words and returned to his room to cultivate. "You'd better use your cultivation to conquer her." Lu Ming patted Kong Jin's shoulder, turned around, and walked into the room. "Hey, what's the meaning of this? Make it clear." Kong Jin shouted. Chapter 757. 757 Rank 6 Alchemist. Time flew by, and 2 days passed. In the room, Lu Ming sat cross-legged, a green flame dancing between his eyebrows. Break! Lu Ming muttered and activated the meditation with all his might. The green flame flickered, then shrank rapidly and disappeared. After a while, another kind of flame suddenly appeared between his brows. It was a blue flame. The blue mental energy fire represented that Lu Ming's inscription Dao had already reached level 6. A rank 6 alchemist. He exclaimed. The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled into a smile. Through his inner vision, he saw a spirit lamp in his sea of consciousness. It was shining with a blue spirit fire, gorgeous and beautiful. Lu Ming's inscription Dao had long reached the limit of the 5th level. After this period of cultivation, he finally broke through and reached the 6th level. A level 6 inscriber was equivalent to a spiritual ocean tier cultivator. Now, I can take a look at the seal left behind by Master. Lu Ming controlled the mental energy fire and directed it towards the seal left by Liansong. The seal left by Liansong was easily broken. When the Dao of inscription was at level 5, it couldn't be opened, but at level 6, it was easily opened. It contained all the experiences and insights of a rank 6 alchemist left by Liansong. Lu Ming felt as if he had obtained a treasure. He started to comprehend and cultivate. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. Fatty, Lu Ming, Monsieur, you guys stay here for a few days. I have something to do and will be out for a few days. Ruan Tingting said to Lu Ming and the other two. Tingting, you're going out for a few days. Where are you going? Kongjin asked. Nothing much. I need a few days to complete a mission issued by the sect. Ruan Tingting said. A mission? Bring me along. Lu Ming, do you guys want to go? Kongjin looked at Lu Ming and said. All right. Lu Ming nodded. He had been here for a few days. Lu Ming wanted to go out and have a look around to understand the situation. You guys want to go together? I'm telling you, this mission has a certain degree of danger. Ruan Tingting said. If there's danger, then all the more we have to go. Tingting, don't worry, I'll protect you. Kongjin seized the opportunity to please him. Ruan Tingting pondered for a moment. You guys can go if you want. But don't run around. You have to stay by my side. Okay, no problem, I'll definitely be by your side. Kongjin immediately agreed. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing did not say much. They followed Ruan Tingting out of the Windsword sect and arrived outside of Grand Gathering City. This time, the main mission was to kill a peak 5th level demonic beast, the Black Devil Venomous Scorpion. The location was in a dark swamp more than 300,000 li away from Grand Gathering City. According to Ruan Tingting, the dark swamp was filled with poisonous things and was very dangerous. Therefore, she had called a few of her good friends to go with her. Her good friends were not from the Windsword sect, but from other forces. Outside of Grand Gathering City, Lu Ming and the rest saw 2 other young men, a man and a woman. The woman was very beautiful and was about the same age as Ruan Tingting. The man was also quite handsome. Through Ruan Tingting's introduction, Lu Ming and the rest found out that the woman's name was Qiao Xian. She was a disciple of the Sea Cloud sect, another sect near Grand Gathering City. The man's name was Shi Kai, and he was also a disciple of the Shi family, one of the forces in Grand Gathering City. Tingting, who are they? Qiao Xian looked at Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and Kongjin curiously. Nice to meet you, beautiful. I'm Kongjin. Kongjin was the first to greet Qiao Xian. His small eyes scanned Qiao Xian's body up and down, and they were shining brightly. This damn fatty, he's just like you. Xian Yanqing whispered in Lu Ming's ear. Lu Ming immediately pulled a long face. In justice, he was greatly wronged. When did he become as lecherous as Kongjin, staring at every beautiful woman he saw? Ruan Tingting glared at Kongjin and ignored him. She introduced him to Qiao Xian. This is Lu Ming, and this is Miss Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming. Qiao Xian's eyes suddenly lit up. Xian, you know Lu Ming? Ruan Tingting asked. I don't know him, but this name is very familiar. I think I've heard it before. Xiao Xian's brows furrowed. It's probably someone with the same name. There are many people with the same name in the world. Ruan Tingting said, not minding it. Xiao Xian glanced at Lu Ming and nodded. Then, the group of them flew in the direction of Dark Swamp. It didn't take long for them to arrive at the 300,000 li mark. Ahead of them was the Dark Swamp. You guys have to be careful later, don't get lost. Ruan Tingting was worried and reminded him again. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. This lady had a good heart. However, no matter how he looked at it, she was too naive. Lu Ming and the other two naturally nodded. Then, everyone, carefully, flew in. Not long after they flew in, there were many poisonous insects that pounced at them. However, their levels were not high and they were easily killed by Ruan Tingting and the others. Xiao Xian and Shikai were both peak-tier kings. The Dark Swamp was huge, and the group had advanced for tens of thousands of miles. We're almost at the Black Devil Scorpion's lair, be careful. Ruan Tingting said. Everyone retracted their auras and continued forward. That's the Black Ghost Scorpion. Kill. In a swamp, he found a huge black poisonous scorpion. Its entire body was black as if it was cast from steel. This was the target of their trip, Black Ghost Scorpion. Ruan Tingting shouted and immediately charged at the Black Ghost. The blue sword light was crystal clear and enveloped the Black Scorpion. CSI. The Black Ghost venomous scorpion let out a screech, and its black tail stabbed towards Ruan Tingting like a black lightning. Clang! Clang! The sound of metal clashing rang out, and the blue sword light dissipated. Ruan Tingting's figure could not help but retreat. Let's attack together. Xiao Xian shouted, and charged forward with Shikai. Xiao Xian used a soft whip, while Shikai used a large hammer. The two of them joined hands with Ruan Tingting, and they continuously attacked the Black Devil Scorpion. Although the Black Ghost venomous scorpion was strong, it was still no match for the joint forces of 3 martial artists of the same level. Not long after, its black shell was cut open by Ruan Tingting's long sword, and black blood oozed out. During this process, Lu Ming and the other two did not interfere. CSI. Seeing that it couldn't win, Black Ghost Scorpion turned around and ran madly in the swamp. Chase. Ruan Tingting and the other two quickly chased after Black Devil Scorpion. Let's go and take a look. Lu Ming said, and the three of them followed him. In the blink of an eye, they had covered thousands of miles. Bang! Just as the Black Ghost venomous scorpion escaped to a mound, rays of light suddenly emanated from the mound, forming a combat sword. The sword slashed the Black Ghost venomous scorpion, splitting it in half in the air. What's going on? Ruan Tingting and the others were shocked and couldn't help but stop. A formation? Interesting. Lu Ming muttered. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.